This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel The Primitive Ancient Snake. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 951. Wouldn't this cause resistance? Furukawa couldn't help but ask. Resist? How to resist? Want to resist the master? It's ridiculous. With just one look, I'm afraid you will be wiped out in ashes. Under absolute power, the resistance of all ants is just a joke. The Void Angler sneered. And the most important point is that as long as you don't want to be promoted to the Lord and become the Lord of the universe, then you will always be safe and live in peace of mind, and the Lord will not deal with you. If you try to become the master, it will be a dead end. With a big stick in hand and a mouthful of honey, even a fool knows how to choose, so the 9 masters have beaten countless masters of the universe into submission. So far, no one has dared to try to be promoted to the master of the universe. Hearing this, Furukawa immediately understood why no one has been able to become the 10th master so far. Because once he tries to break through the master, he will immediately be killed by the masters. Even if he is really promoted to the master realm because he has not enough savings, they will still be beaten to death. The previous lords of creation served as a warning and frightened countless ancient lords of the universe. Of course, even so, some evil lords of the universe will still try to break through the overlord, but so what? As long as one appears, the overlord they hammered one to death. For them, it was just a warm-up exercise and nothing at all. Have you ever tried to break through the undead before? At this time, Furukawa suddenly remembered that the undead had been attacked by the Lord before. Generally speaking, the Lord would not attack the Lord of the universe without any reason. Because the gap between the two is really too big, just like the quasi-saint. The difference between the saint and the saint may not seem to be just a realm, but it is a world of difference and cannot be compared with the same. That's right. The Immortal admitted directly. At the beginning, I was arrogant and didn't know how high the sky was. Relying on my immortality, I wanted to try to break through the master and directly become the 10th master. It's a pity that a master came at that time and almost killed me with just a casual blow. It also damaged my foundation and made it impossible for me to break through to the realm of master. The master saw that I had become a useless person and was no longer interested in me. He even had no idea of killing me, so he turned around and left, and I managed to save a small life. He told some details of what happened. Although his tone was very calm at the moment, Furukawa could sense the anger, unwillingness, and despair of the undead. There is nothing more painful than this. Under the suppression of the masters, no one with the title of Master of the Universe is allowed to break through. How painful and aggrieved this is. No one with talent can bear it. To be honest, if Furukawa wants to break through to the Master Realm, I am afraid he also needs to face the suppression of the 9 masters, which is a kind of despair that cannot be described in words. Unless he is willing to stay in the realm of the title of Lord of the Universe without breaking through, otherwise he can only face the siege of the 9 masters. Faced with this terrible pressure, could it be that the Eternal River wants to kill me because it has predicted the future and knows in advance that I am a huge threat? Furukawa's eyes flashed, and he couldn't help but have such thoughts in his heart. In fact, he was also curious about why Eternal River wanted to kill him. After all, he and Eternal River had never met before, and there could be no contradiction between them. But it is strange that the Eternal River wants to eradicate itself. But if the Eternal River can predict the future and perceive the threat that the future self can pose to the Eternal River, thus arousing the fear of the Eternal River, it is not difficult to understand this such a thing. Even prophets have the ability to predict the future. It is not impossible for a powerful master like Eternal River to predict the future. It is even inevitable. Therefore, it is completely conceivable that he'll have a conflict with Eternal River in the future. After all, if there is a chance, it is impossible for him not to try to be promoted to the master. You said before that there were changes in the 9 masters, and then you talked about the importance of the Gate of Origin. Is the Gate of Origin about to appear again? Furukawa's heart moved, thinking of this. That's right. The Void Angler nodded. You are indeed very smart, and you guessed the key to the matter at once. The 9 masters gradually woke up at this time, and I am afraid they sensed that the Gate of Origin was about to appear. And once it appears, there will definitely be a war between the 9 masters. At that time, the entire Origin continent will become the battlefield of the masters, with countless casualties. In fact, the last time the Gate of Origin appeared, there was already a fierce fight. I don't know how many countries and how many masters of the universe died in this war. His face was very serious, and he became completely solemn. The undead and the prophet also nodded. They said that Furukawa's guess was correct. The Gate of Origin will indeed appear again in the near future, causing huge waves in the Origin continent. In fact, if not, they wouldn't be so worried. How long will it take for the Gate of Origin to appear? Furukawa asked curiously. This is not very clear. No one can accurately calculate the time when the Gate of Origin appeared. It can only be an approximate number of time. However, according to current estimates, this time will be very short and will not exceed the time of 1 universe reincarnation. The prophet said in a deep voice. After hearing this, Furukawa was speechless. Less than 1 universe reincarnation time? It seems like a very short time, but for ordinary creatures, it is already an unimaginably long time. After all, he has not even lived for 1 universe reincarnation. He is just a young man. To those ancient existences, he is simply a baby. But he can also understand the thoughts of the prophet and others. For people like them, for the overlords of the universe who have lived for who knows how long, the time of 1 universe reincarnation is indeed too short. It is estimated that the time of one of their retreats may exceed the time of 1 universe reincarnation. But this is also an opportunity. Furukawa's eyes showed a glimmer of light. Although the emergence of the Gate of Origin will cause the 9 masters to fight each other for immortality, the Gate of Origin will continue to spew out divine objects and origin texts. If he can take the opportunity to obtain a large number of divine objects and origins, with words, I am afraid that he can instantly improve his combat effectiveness and reach a state that has never been seen in ancient times. So this is a crisis, but it is also an opportunity. And if he takes advantage of the appearance of the Gate of Origin, he can be promoted in one fell swoop in the realm of dominion. Maybe the 9 great dominators will not care about themselves because they compete for the divine objects erupted from the Gate of Origin. But no matter what, this is a great opportunity. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 952. But if you want to avoid this disaster, wouldn't it be enough to just leave the Origin continent and go to the Cosmic Sea? Furukawa looked at the Void Angler, the Undead, and the Prophet. Of course, this is also a solution. The Void Angler nodded. In fact, many ancient cosmic overlords know that the Gate of Origin is about to appear, so they will choose to temporarily leave the Origin continent to avoid the War of the 9 Masters. They will not come back until the war is over. But even so, there are still many cosmic overlords who are unwilling to leave. They still choose to stay in the Origin continent, waiting for opportunities, hoping to seize the Origin text while the 9 Masters are unprepared. If successful, I am afraid that my combat effectiveness will be improved instantly and reach an unprecedented state. Therefore, this is a crisis and an opportunity at the same time. Hearing this, Furukawa completely understood that some ancient cosmic overlords who were afraid of death and wanted stability would naturally not interfere with every opportunity that appeared at the Gate of Origin. By doing so, although they could not improve their own strength, at least they can live for a long time. But those who are ambitious to call themselves the Lords of the Universe think that this is a great opportunity. They are all brave and careful, and want to take advantage of the 9 Masters' battle and reveal a gap to seize the door from the Origin. A divine object that is ejected. If successful, they can simply reach the sky in one step and become the invincible overlord among the titled Lords of the Universe, surpassing countless titled Lords of the Universe. But if we seize the divine object ejected from the gate of origin, won't we be hated by the masters? If he was targeted by the master, wouldn't he be certain to die? Furukawa couldn't help but ask. Of course he will be hated by the master. The Void Angler said matter-of-factly. If it's an ordinary divine object that the Lord doesn't like at all, then that's it. But if it's a truly powerful origin text or origin divine object that even the Lord is coveted, then the Lord, I won't let it go for sure. However, those titled lords of the universe also knew this, so after getting such a treasure, they immediately left the origin continent and headed for the boundless sea of universe. In this way, even if the 9 masters are angry again, they can't do anything to them. After all, the cosmic sea is too big. Even if the masters are infinitely powerful, it will be difficult to find traces of the hidden master of the universe. Just like a Nar suppressed by you, it got the 2 origin words of Na. This is a treasure that even the 9 masters covet. If the Nar returns to the continent of origin, it will definitely be beaten to death by the master. However, it is very smart and knows this, so it just wanders in the cosmic sea and eats the universe everywhere. After all, for an ancient existence like it, it can survive no matter where it goes, and the same goes for the cosmic sea. There is no need to stay in the continent of origin. Hearing this, Furukawa suddenly realized. He also immediately knew why the Lord of the Universe, with such a powerful title as the Nar, did not return to the origin continent, but chose to survive in the universe sea. It was not that it did not want to go back, but that it was forced to do so. It is afraid of being targeted by the master and beaten to death. But it can only have a chance of survival if it lives in the boundless sea of the universe, where even the master cannot find it. But how powerful the Lord is, if it deliberately wants to find someone, can it really not find it? Furukawa asked curiously. Haha, don't imagine the masters to be too powerful. Although they are indeed powerful, they are not omnipotent. The prophet smiled slightly. The cosmic sea is such a vast and boundless area. Even now, no life can know how big the cosmic sea is. Moreover, the cosmic sea is expanding all the time, expanding its own area. Even a life as powerful as the Lord can hardly find a specific person in such a vast and boundless area. Of course, if the title of Lord of the Universe is promoted to dominate at this moment, it will cause astonishing phenomena of heaven and earth in the entire universe sea. This is like a huge target, and it is impossible for the Lord to not discover it. But other than that, it is really difficult for the Lord to find someone with the title Lord of the Universe who is deliberately hidden. It is simply like finding a needle in a haystack. Indeed. The undead nodded. And another very important point is that although these divine objects are indeed precious, they are not to the extent that the master would rather waste his own time and pursue them at all costs. Even the relationship between the masters is not very harmonious. Every time the Gate of Origin appears, they are really on fire, and the conflicts between them are almost irreconcilable. If during the search process, one's own flaw is accidentally exposed, I'm afraid that other masters will be watching, and they will take the opportunity to severely damage or even kill them. Therefore, after countless considerations, the Overlord gave up on chasing those titled lords of the universe who escaped from the origin continent. As long as the other party did not advance to become Overlord, he would turn a blind eye. He gave all the reasons. I see. Furukawa couldn't help but nodded. He also completely understood the psychology of the masters. Obviously, it is still worthwhile to chase those who are called the masters of the universe, or it is not worth it. If it is really worth it, then even if the pursuit is even to the end of the world, the other party may have to die. But if it is not worth it, then there is no need to chase him. Anyway, the other party is just a small person and does not pose any threat to himself, so there is no need to pay attention to it. The most important thing is that he can be seen by the masters. There are really too few treasures that attract attention. Even if some divine objects are very precious, they cannot reach the level that makes the master's heart beat. It is for reasons such as this that there are still many titled masters of the universe who can benefit from them. But this time the birth of the Gate of Origin is different, completely different from before. At this time, The prophet's face suddenly became serious. According to my prediction and the vision of the future, I am afraid that this time the Gate of Origin will eject unprecedented divine objects and origin texts. If anyone gets the origin text, then that person can become the strongest master, surpassing other masters, becoming the truly strongest, and even transcending everything. Therefore, the birth of the Gate of Origin this time is no small matter. If the 9 masters were still in control before, they would be wary of each other and would not use all their strength or be ruthless. But things are different now. In order to compete for the strongest divine object ejected from the Gate of Origin, they will really risk everything, and the intensity of the battle will be unprecedented. It is even possible that the master will fall this time.
What?
As soon as he said this, Furukawa's eyes flashed. If this is really the case, then the birth of the Gate of Origin this time will be an unimaginable calamity. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 953. At this moment, the undead and the void anglers looked very serious. It was obvious that they had already learned about the seriousness of this matter and the prophet's predictions from the prophet's mouth. That's why they are worried. If the 9 masters use real fire this time and fight to the death, the origin continent will collapse and all civilizations will fall. If even the Immortal Master dies, it will definitely cause unimaginable huge waves, enough to affect the entire cosmic sea and the pattern of infinite forces. At that time, we don't know how many universes will be destroyed because of this. What is the most powerful divine object that is ejected? Furukawa asked. I don't know. This is beyond the scope of my prediction. The prophet shook his head. To be honest, I only vaguely saw the horror of some scenes in the future. One by one, the lords of the universe died like ants, and billions of infinite sentient beings disappeared in an instant. Such a picture of the future, even if it is just the tip of the iceberg, is enough to make people frightened, as if the end is coming and the era will collapse. He showed a look of lingering fear. To be honest, he also paid a huge price for this prophecy. After all, seeing the future is not without cost. This is an ability that defies heaven, and the world is fair. I see. Furukawa nodded. He also understood why the prophet was so worried about the future, because no one can escape this earth-shattering disaster during the catastrophe. Even if they are hiding in the deepest part of the cosmic sea, once the disaster comes, they will still be there. The body dies, and the Tao disappears. It can be said that this is an unprecedented calamity that will affect all life. Even the ancient masters of the universe will not be able to escape this time. So, what do you need me to do? Furukawa looked at the 3 ancient masters of the universe, the undead, the void angler, and the prophet. He knew that there is no free lunch in the world. People may not be willing to tell you such ancient secrets, even if they pay a huge price. But they chose to speak out without any price or reservation. There must be something to ask for, and free things are often the most expensive things. We don't need you to do anything. We just want to find a chance of survival and play a game of chess when the catastrophe comes. As for whether we can succeed, we can only depend on God's will. The prophet smiled slightly, and when we reach the realm of you and me, there are not many treasures in the world that can penetrate our Dharma eyes. As long as the catastrophe comes in the future, if you have the ability, it will be worth the money to wait for me. The void angler smiled slightly. He said that this is risky investment. Since it is an investment, it is naturally risky, but once successful, the rewards will be huge, and you can survive the inevitable disaster. To be honest, in such a big world during the tribulation, it is the last word to survive. Otherwise, no matter how many treasures you get, they will be of no use. They will be nothing more than external possessions. In that case, I won't be polite. To be honest, I still have a lot of things I want to ask you 3. After all, I have only lived a short life, which is not enough for a universe to reincarnate. Moreover, when I embarked on the path of spiritual practice, I was still ignorant, cutting thorns and thorns along the way. I went through countless difficulties before finally reaching this point. Hearing this, Furukawa immediately felt relieved, and then beat the snake and followed the stick. He wanted to sit down and discuss with the three ancient masters of the universe and take the opportunity to exchange each other's experiences. After all, he still didn't know many things, and the three ancient masters of the universe have lived for such a long time. Regardless of how high their cultivation level is, their experience must be extremely rich. I guess just a few words can save him a lot of detours. Haha, you are really not polite at all, but this matter is not unreasonable. In fact, I am also very curious about what the great path of your practice is and why you are making such rapid progress. The Void Angler smiled slightly. What I practice is the way of void, the way of cause and effect. By perceiving the cause and effect and opportunities in the endless void, I can fish all over the world and catch away opportunities one after another, even if I can't get out. If you are a householder, you can also gain opportunities in the world. With these two avenues, I gained the title of Void Angler, and many universe masters hated me to the core, thinking that I had stolen their opportunity without saying a word. This practice method is actually a trick. Its biggest disadvantage is that it is not good at fighting, but it is extremely safe and the enemy cannot find your true identity. At the same time, it also progresses rapidly and obtains a lot of treasures, because as long as you have a fishing rod, then the void and the sea are yours everywhere, and you can easily catch big fish one after another. He told me his way of practice. What I practice is the way of destiny and the way of deduction. The prophet also said, by observing the fate of countless sentient beings, entering the long river of fate, the long river of time and space, peering into the future, observing the veins of fate, and mastering fate, you can control everything and achieve the supreme state of seeking good fortune and avoiding evil. But when manpower is limited, sometimes knowing your destiny may not change your destiny. Even if you know your destiny, the result may not be better than if you don't know it. To be honest, at present, I have only reached the state of observing destiny. I don't know how far I am from the supreme state of changing my destiny and changing my fate against the will of nature. And destiny is also the most elusive, difficult to control, and the most mysterious force. Among the 3,000 avenues, destiny is the highest. It is estimated that even the master may not be able to control his own destiny. If fellow Taoists want to hear my understanding of destiny, it's not impossible either. His voice contained waves of chaos, ethereal, and seemed to reveal a dense trajectory of fate, just like the god of destiny whispering in a low voice. What I cultivate is the way of life, the way of the soul. The undead also spoke. I am good at fighting and have fought countless enemies. It can be said that my combat experience is unparalleled among all the lords of the universe. But in fact, what I am best at is not fighting but exercising, but gaining insight into the nature of life's genes and bloodline and the essence of the soul. Basically, I am a biologist. I have dissected countless races of life, understood the mysteries of countless bloodlines, understood the origin of the soul, and even reached the end of the road of life. So, I became an immortal creature. Even if I am beaten to pieces, I can be resurrected from the void. Even if my soul is destroyed, I can quickly reorganize. Basically, except for the master, it is almost impossible for other masters of the universe to kill me, unless they have some kind of power to instantly erase all the cause and effect on me. What I practice is the way of life and death, the way of reincarnation. Furukawa also said, I am good at reversing life and death, making life reincarnate, endless, never-ending, forming a cycle. Death is not the end of life, but the beginning. He also talked about the great path he practiced. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 954. Rumble. Furukawa, Void Angler, Immortal, Prophet, and other four masters of the universe sat here and talked. With their bodies as the center, there were faint fluctuations of the avenue, which seemed to resonate with the law of origin. Countless runes of origin are floating in the air, seeming to come together to form a supreme Tao scripture containing unfathomable power. The Void Anglers, the Undead, and the Prophets are existences that stand at the top of the origin continent, and each of them has almost reached the end of the road. They have also lived for more than 100 million cosmic reincarnations, and the knowledge and insights they have accumulated can be imagined. Except for the Master, there is no one else. Every word that came out of their mouths was profound and profound. Although Furukawa is very young, he is also a monster in history. He rose from the era of chaos, although he also used the memories of his previous life to give him an advantage. But so far in his practice, he has already found his own way, refined the 6 paths of reincarnation, and embarked on the avenue of reincarnation, life and death, cause and effect, time and space, etc., which covers everything. Although his knowledge is not as much as that of the 3 ancient masters of the universe, the Void Anglers, the depth and subtlety of his thinking are beyond what they can match. Often, just one sentence will make Void Anglers, Undead, and Prophets feel enlightened and benefit a lot. Furukawa naturally gained more benefits from the conversation, which was equivalent to making up for his previous shortcomings of a weak foundation and thoroughly learning systematic knowledge. After all, the Void Anglers, the Undead, and the Prophets are each the culmination of the essence of countless civilizations, and from them flow the rise and fall of countless cosmic civilizations. It can be said that each of them is the best teacher. Immediately, they were completely immersed in the discussion and had no idea that the years were passing by. Billions of epochs passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, the discussion between Furukawa, the Immortal, the Void Angler, and the Prophet finally came to an end. The 4 of them also benefited a lot. They seemed to be baptized by the laws of the Great Road, and the aura on their bodies was unfathomable. Thanks to the guidance of 3 seniors, I was greatly inspired and benefited a lot from this discussion. Furukawa said with emotion. He never expected that he would get so many benefits this time. Although his cultivation has not improved much during this period, in fact, his understanding of the laws of the Great Road has become deeper, and he even created 3 different Doomsday-level spells. Huge inspiration? Have you realized something? The Void Angler asked curiously. Although he gained a lot from this discussion, he learned a lot from Furukawa about the power of life and death, reincarnation, cause and effect, etc. But it did not reach the level of transformation. After all, he was promoted at this level. It is extremely difficult to take a step forward. Success cannot be achieved by just discussing the Tao. This requires years of accumulation. Certainly. Furukawa nodded. The Void Avenue of the Senior Void Fisherman, as well as the Avenue of Cause and Effect, are very unpredictable. I have benefited a lot from the secret technique of void fishing, and I feel like I have been enlightened. Being touched by this, I suddenly had a flash of inspiration, so I took the opportunity to create a supreme technique, which I named Wandering Treasure Collection Hand. Wandering Treasure Collecting Hands? What kind of magic is this? The Void Angler asked curiously. The Undead and the Prophet also looked at Furukawa with great curiosity, wondering what kind of technique Furukawa had created. It sounded very mysterious. This technique is very simple. It is based on the principle of void fishing by my predecessors. Therefore, I have also condensed a hand of cause and effect, which can sense countless opportunities and countless treasures in the depths of the void. Furukawa smiled slightly. And this hand of cause and effect ignores distance, barriers, and restricted formations. It can appear in all the worlds and collect those ownerless treasures. Boom! In an instant, with a thought, he condensed a hand of nothingness, which was covered with dense laws of cause and effect, as well as cause and effect runes, void runes, etc. This hand of nothingness exudes an unfathomable aura and blooms with infinite light. Found it. At this moment, Furukawa stretched out his big hand and grabbed the void. It seemed that this big hand merged into the chaotic void and went to an unknown place. He didn't know how much distance the void spanned. The next second, he seemed to grab when he reached something. He grabbed it gently, and then the big hand came back from a distance, and a treasure appeared on the big hand. Furukawa took a closer look and saw that it was a sword, showing a gray color. The body is filled with the aura of defeat, decay, death, etc., which is extremely evil and terrifying, and contains terrifying edge power. It seems that with one strike of the sword, countless lives will wither, and the void will split, with infinite power. Impossible! Isn't this the Sword of Destruction, the natal magic weapon of the Lord of Destruction? At this time, the Void Angler couldn't help shouting. Legend has it that this is a cosmic secret treasure that contains infinite power. If it is slashed by a sword, no matter how strong the body and soul are, it will be destroyed by this. Injured by the power of the curse, the body is in a state of defeat and continues to decay. With this sword, the Lord of Destruction is simply invincible and unbeatable. Countless masters of the universe have been hacked to death by his sword, which has made him famous for his fierce reputation. Unfortunately, when the Gate of Origin was born, he also went to fight for the divine object erupted from the Gate of Origin. As a result, he was slapped to death by the Master and was wiped out. And the secret treasure of the universe, the Sword of Defeat, also disappeared. Some universe masters believed that the sword might have been blown away by the Master and entered the depths of the dimensional void, so it could not be found. His eyes were fixed on the Sword of Defeat in Furukawa's hand. He simply couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't believe that Furukawa actually grabbed a secret treasure from the universe like this. It was really unbelievable and unbelievable. Believe it? What? The undead was also shocked. He felt the power of this sword, which could pose a great threat to his body. It felt like a light on his back. Is this the hand that collects supreme magic and wandering treasures? Can you grab an ownerless treasure from the depths of the void with just a casual grab? The prophet blinked his eyes, feeling very shocked. In just a moment, he realized the power and mystery of this supreme technique created by Furukawa. It was simply more mysterious than the fishing technique of the Void Angler. How many times? He looked at Furukawa with burning eyes, seeming to have a new understanding of Furukawa. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 955. Are you kidding me? Just by hearing us talk about the way of cultivation, you can actually create a supreme technique comparable to that of the Void Angler? The undead were stunned and couldn't believe it. No, it's not as simple as that. It should be a fishing technique that surpasses the Void Angler. The prophet said solemnly. He could see at a glance the power of the wandering treasure collection hand. It was more powerful, more mysterious, and more unfathomable than the fishing technique of the Void Angler. For example, the fishing technique of the Void Angler, although this technique can fish all over the world, enter all kinds of places, catch treasures one after another, and gain benefits from it. But this technique is actually a technique that depends on fate. Those who wish to take the bait will, in other words, if the big fish are not fooled, the Void Angler will not be able to catch any big fish. But the wandering treasure collection hand created by Furukawa is completely different. It has the advantages of fishing, such as being able to easily enter all the worlds, reach any place, and sense the location of the treasure. But it also has an advantage that fishing does not have. That is, it can accurately capture one treasure after another. Once it senses the treasure with the appearance of the treasure, it can capture the opponent regardless of whether the treasure is willing or not. In other words, the success rate of this technique is many times higher than that of fishing. Fishing technique is purely dependent on the sky, that is, you rely on your character to make a living. If your character is not good, I am afraid that no big fish will take the bait for many years. If I have to use a metaphor, the fishing technique of the Void Angler is simply fishing, and those who are willing to take the bait will take the bait. And the wandering treasure created by Furukawa, as for the collection method, it is to cast a wide net to catch fish. In short, a large net of void can catch a large group of fish in an instant, regardless of whether those big fish are willing or not. In short, the efficiency of catching them all is unknown. How many times has it improved? The prophet's eyes showed a glimmer of light. And don't forget, This kid even suppressed the title of Lord of the Universe like Nar, which means that he still has many secret methods that have not been used. To be honest, even in a life-and-death battle, the undead may not be able to win. Although the undead have immortality, there are too many ways in the world to restrain this ability. Sometimes to defeat the enemy, it is not necessary to kill the enemy. Seal the enemy directly is also a method. Haha, no matter what, we have fun to watch. The Void Angler laughed. He was also very interested in Furukawa's strength. He didn't know what level of strength this young junior had. He was looking forward to it. Kill. In an instant, the undead man took action in an instant. He had no intention of talking nonsense with Furukawa and directly used his strongest skill, the ancient magic fist. He is a martial arts idiot, go straight, and a fight is a fight. Without any politeness. Many people see his title as Immortal and think that he only has the ability to die. But in fact, he is also the Lord of the Universe with explosive combat power. Precisely because of his immortality, this allowed him to enrich his combat experience to the extreme. This ancient magic fist is a supreme fist technique created by the Immortal who integrated his lifelong martial arts. It has shocked era after era and made countless universes. The masters were frightened after hearing about it. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, fists were blasted out from the undead. The fists were powerful enough to reach the sky, containing the momentum and power to destroy the world, as if the entire universe was exploded. What? Furukawa's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He sensed that the moment the undead punched out, the whole world changed. The punch struck down, simply distorting all the laws of the Great Road. In one word, it was chaos. It seems that this punch is blasted out, reversing the laws, reversing the universe, distorting space, distorting time, distorting cause and effect, distorting fate. All matter is completely distorted under this punch. It seems that all the laws have fallen into chaos and chaos. Vaguely, this punch is like a black hole, swallowing all matter, twisting all matter, collapsing all matter, causing everything to return to chaos. This distortion, the power of chaos, is extremely terrifying. It simply collapses all the laws of the Great Road and disintegrates the origin of all the universe. Any Lord of the Universe will be beaten to death by this punch, and his body will be twisted into debris. This is the power of Wangu Demon Fist. Horrible. When the undead used the ancient demonic fist, the fist was simply invincible and rushed forward. Even the Master of the Universe at the same level could rarely withstand his punch. If he was hit by a punch, his entire body would. The soul, as well as the laws of the Great Tao, will be completely distorted and completely shattered, and all matter will return to chaos and fall into eternal destruction. Of course, such a boxing technique also has great side effects. Because when using the ancient demonic fist, if you want to hurt someone, you should hurt it first. Gee, this kind of twisted and chaotic power first acted on himself, causing him to suffer heavy injuries. It can be said that this is similar to the boxing method of 7-injury fist, like the boxing method of a madman. Only the undead can do this. The Lord of the Universe relies on his super resilience and his immortality to use such a punch that kills the enemy. Many Lords of the Universe will yell at the opponent as a mad dog when fighting the undead. It seems that as soon as they take action, they will die together with the enemy. Therefore, when many universe masters see the undead, they will quickly run away in fear and will not fight with the undead at all. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 960. Cause and Effect Barrier. In an instant, Furukawa's thoughts moved, and with his body as the center, a huge barrier was instantly formed. It was a defensive barrier condensed by the runes of cause and effect and the avenue of cause and effect. It could rebound almost all spells. Boom. But the barrier of cause and effect has no effect on the undead. The undead came with a punch. The chaotic and twisted power can even distort cause and effect. With just one punch, The barrier of cause and effect, which was originally invincible, was instantly destroyed and completely destroyed. Shattered like glass. Cause and effect magic? It's useless. Under my Luangu Demon Fist, any spells are useless. My fist can break through all kinds of spells. No matter how many spells you have, I will break them all with one punch. The undead laughed loudly. As soon as he finished speaking, he struck with another punch. The terrifying power of chaos and distortion was filled with extreme demonic nature, as if it could twist the entire universe into debris. If his body is hit by this punch, it will definitely explode in an instant. It can only be said that he is worthy of the oldest title of Lord of the Universe and has won the title of immortality. This punch alone is enough to prove that he is immortal. The power is by no means unfounded. The wings of the primitive ancient snake. In an instant, Furukawa thought, and a pair of wings appeared on his back. This is the bloodline magical power that he, as a primitive ancient snake, possesses. These are a pair of ancient snake wings, mythical wings that condense the world and fantasy. They are a pair of free wings that are almost transcendent of all laws. Once deployed, they will not be bound by any laws of the Great Road and can make the body it turned into an illusory phantom, and it was difficult for any creature to capture Furukawa's figure.
Boom.
In a blink of an eye, the moment Furukawa displayed the wings of the original ancient snake, the fist of the undead crushed him across time and space. Come, erupting with terrifying power of distortion and chaos. This punch seemed to completely explode the chaotic void, and the terror was boundless.
What?
The undead's pupils shrank, because he found that his punch actually hit when he reached the empty space. What he hit was not Furukawa's body, but an illusory shadow, an illusion that even his power of chaos could not distort. Because the power of illusion itself is free, imaginary, and ever-changing, regardless of no matter how twisted it is still an illusion. It is not changed like reality. No matter how powerful his punch is, if he cannot hit the enemy, it is useless. Unexpectedly, even the ancient demonic fist of the undead can't be hit, and the power of chaos cannot be easily distorted. This kind of magical power is really powerful. The Void Angler exclaimed. He could sense the power of Furukawa's pair of wings. This is the magical power of his bloodline. It not only contains the avenue of space, but also the avenue of time and space. It seems to be mixed with the power of illusion and the power of reality. It is a pair of miraculous wings. Even the ancient magic fist may not be able to do it. Hit Furukawa's figure. The prophet was also amazed. It seems that Furukawa's combat power cannot be underestimated. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Furukawa's figure was all over the space. There seemed to be thousands of figures, real or fake, real or fake. It was impossible to see which one was the real one. Furukawa's clone. Maybe they are all fake, or maybe they are all real. Even the undead cannot detect where Furukawa's true body is. It's really a powerful technique. It can actually be so fake that it can be confused with the real thing, but I don't need to find out which one is real and which one is fake. I just need to blow up all the figures. The undead smiled slightly. He has so much fighting experience. He has also fought against the masters of the universe who have reached the highest level of illusion. The shadows transformed by these masters of the universe are more realistic and no different from real people. Even he couldn't detect it and couldn't tell the difference between true and false. After all, he was not good at magic. But it didn't matter at all. His ancient demonic fist was extremely terrifying. Even if the enemy transformed into hundreds of millions of clones, he could do it in an instant, throwing out billions of punches. He ensured that every punch would hit the enemy's figure and absolutely nothing would be missed.
Wow.
In an instant, the undead took action. He blasted out with one punch. In an instant, he blasted out hundreds of millions of punches, covering the void. Endless chaotic power and twisted power burst out. It seems that this punch completely exploded the area with a radius of hundreds of millions of light years, and all the laws of the avenue were completely distorted, turning this place into a huge black hole, swallowing everything, and all matter returned to chaos. Even the power of illusion will completely collapse in the face of such terrifying chaos and distortion. As expected of the Immortal Senior, it was you who took action just now, so now it is my turn to take action. This is a punch of fate, unavoidable and unstoppable. At this moment, Furukawa suddenly spoke. His voice seemed to exude the flavor of fate, like the god of destiny, dominating the fate of countless sentient beings. Thousands of clones were making the same movement at this moment, and 5 fingers lightly, he gently gathered it back, seeming to envelop all fate in his big hand. This is the hand of fate. Although Furukawa struck last and the undead struck first, the speed of this punch was beyond imagination and beyond common sense. A punch from the boundless destiny. A punch from the sky.
Boom tilde tilde.
In an instant, a huge fist of nothingness blasted out from the depths of the void, just like the fist of the god of destiny blasted out from the depths of the river of destiny. The entire secret world was trembling and buzzing at this moment. The earth cracked and cracked. The vast power of fate was everywhere, creating huge pressure. What? The prophet and the void angler, who were still watching the show, suddenly stood up, their eyes showing horror. At this moment, the two of them seemed to feel the fate of death. They were targeted by this punch. They instantly realized that there was no way to hide because this was their fate. This was an inevitable punch. Even if they hid to the end of the world, they would still have to take this punch. Are you kidding me? Is this the boxing technique this kid taught? The fist of destiny? The prophet and the void angler looked at each other, and they both saw the shocked expressions on each other's faces. It seems that they still greatly underestimated the horror of this boxing technique created by Furukawa. That kind of tyrannical power of destiny gathered together. Coming, it's like the fate of infinite sentient beings is crushing. Who can bear the burden of the fate of infinite sentient beings? Even if they are not standing in the center of the battle, only in the peripheral area, they can feel this, almost unable to resist the pressure. It's like if fate wants you to die, you will definitely die. This is fate and inevitable. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 961. This. The undead who bore the brunt felt it more deeply than the void angler and the prophet, because he was the one facing the fist of destiny, and he immediately felt this unprecedented pressure. Apart from the Lord, this was the first time he felt the pressure of death rushing towards his face. At this moment, he felt the omnipresent power of fate crushing him, as if it was the torrent of the fate of infinite beings, making everything fall into nothingness wherever it went.
Boom tilde tilde.
With just one contact, he found that the ancient demonic fist he blasted was instantly shattered. Any power of chaos or distortion was impossible to withstand in the face of the torrent of fate. Because distortion and chaos are also a kind of fate. 3,000 avenues. Destiny is supreme. It means that destiny is supreme and encompasses everything. All power, all struggles, all wailings are unstoppable in the face of destiny. How could he be so tyrannical? The undead's pupils shrank. He felt that this punch was not just the power of one person's destiny, but the power of destiny of countless creatures gathered together to form this earth-shattering punch. It seemed that Furukawa had collected countless lives. The torrent superimposes the fate of all living beings on himself, and then explodes instantly, so that he can deliver such an astonishing punch. This punch crushes the surrounding chaotic void, and the space barrier is shattered. Traces. The originally extremely hard secret space was actually shattered by this corrosive force of fate at this moment, and dense cracks appeared, like spider webs.
Boom.
Just one punch hit the undead instantly, because this was a sure punch, a blow from the river of destiny, a blow across dimensions. With a bang, the undead had almost no resistance, and his whole body was blasted away, grazing across the ground and sliding. A distance of billions of light years. Suddenly, the entire earth seemed to be cracking open at this moment, and an astonishing trace was forcibly formed, as if forming a road that ran through the entire secret world. Countless fluctuations in destiny. Destiny, the corrosive power explodes in vain on the undead, and every shock of the fate fluctuation can kill a lord of the universe. The corrosive power of fate is even more terrifying, and even the title of Lord of the Universe will be shocked. The soul shattered and died. Blah blah. The body of the undead could not withstand this force. It actually exploded and fell into pieces. It seemed that it was bombed into countless fragments and turned into debris. And this secret world seemed to have been destroyed by this. The punch punched through a big hole as if it had penetrated the world, and the surrounding void laws also showed signs of collapse. One can imagine how terrifying the power of this punch is. Is he dead? At this time, Furukawa stood in the air and felt the undead being smashed into debris by his punch. He was stunned. He didn't expect that he had killed the undead with one punch. But he quickly reacted, sensing the aura of the undead. No, not yet dead. I will say that the undead are the ancient masters of the universe and cannot die so easily. Rumble. At this moment, the debris fragments that were originally scattered everywhere actually began to squirm, absorbing the chaotic energy deep in the void, and then quickly combined together, and finally transformed into the true body of the undead again. As if the bodies, there is no change in the aura. It can only be said that the undead is worthy of being the undead. His cultivation is simply earth-shattering. His body and soul are extremely powerful. Even if there is only a fragment left, he can be reborn quickly. Basically, there is no how many masters of the universe can knock the undead into a state of nothingness with just one blow. Not bad power. The undead stared at Furukawa and suddenly marveled. Is this the divine fist of destiny? It is definitely the strongest punch I have ever seen among the masters of the universe. It seems to be a beating from fate, unstoppable and unavoidable. If that's all, what's even more terrifying is the erosion from the infinite power of fate, which simply shatters all laws and all matter, enough to kill most of the masters of the universe. Fortunately, I met the undead. If it had been someone else titled Lord of the Universe, he might have died tragically under your punch, leaving his body intact.
He was completely convinced.
This boxing technique was not exaggerated. It was even more terrifying than imagined. It made even an undead like him a little frightened. He felt the aura of death that he had not seen for a long time. He is worthy of being an immortal senior. Furukawa was filled with admiration. To be honest, before we started, I thought you might not be able to block this punch, and you might even be beaten to death, but now I still greatly underestimated my senior. Hehe. Hearing this, the Immortal stood with his hands behind his back. You're kidding. I, the Immortal, am also the Overlord of the Universe, who has spanned hundreds of millions of universes over the years. I have never seen any enemies or attack methods before. But the Fist of Destiny you created is indeed powerful, but your strength is still a little bit behind. Maybe you are too young and your cultivation is not enough. If you practice more, you may be able to hit me hard.
What?
Didn't it turn out that the punch just now didn't even cause serious damage to the senior's body? Furukawa was even more impressed. Senior Immortal's understanding of the avenue of immortality has reached a level beyond the reach of younger generations. I didn't expect that. I haven't tested my senior's bottom line yet. To be honest, I only used 1/3 of my boxing power just now. I only used 1/3 of the destiny power of all sentient beings in the universe, not all of my strength. Next, I will take action seriously, use all my strength, use the real Fist of Destiny, and hit a fatal punch from the River of Destiny. This time I will definitely not disappoint my seniors. He looked at the undead very seriously, and the endless power of destiny in his body expanded again. It was obvious that the aura on his body was more than twice as powerful as before. He was not lying when he said that he did not use all his strength just now. It's a fact. After all, it's just a sparring match, not a battle of life and death. There is no need to use all your strength. If you use all your strength to kill the undead, wouldn't it become a joke? Now it seems that the undead is the strength of the ancient lord of the universe was beyond his imagination, and he could completely withstand his strongest punch. What? Hearing this, the undead's eyes almost popped out of his head, and he was frightened. Damn, he was so scared. To such an extent, this kid actually said that he held back his hand just now and did not use his full strength. And now he actually wants to use his full strength and punch himself to death. Looking at this kid's appearance, it seems that he is not joking, but serious. To be honest, he could barely resist the punch just now. If there was another punch, he might really die. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 962. Damn it, is this guy a monster? It has reached this level, but it is not the limit yet. The undead man felt that half of his face turned green. He coughed and waved to Furukawa. Wait, let's stop for now. What's wrong? Immortal senpai, I am gathering my strength. Furukawa blinked his eyes. With your sister's strength, does this little monster really want to beat himself to death? Hearing this, the undead man felt that the rest of his face turned green. If he really suffered this blow from this kid, with just one punch, his life may have been frozen. He said, to be honest, after that punch just now, I have fully understood the power of your boxing technique. Although it is powerful, there are many places that can be improved. Don't pursue the power of boxing too much. It is said that it is easy to break if it is too strong. You should go back and study it carefully, and we will continue the competition next time. He resorted to the strategy of extending his troops. Is it too hard to break easily? Hearing these words, Furukawa couldn't help but nodded, as if he had realized something. As expected of the Immortal Senior, his gaze is indeed like a torch. It is indeed, as the senior said. Although my boxing technique is powerful and can gather the power of the fate of all people, a punch that eroded fate, but after Todoroki punched, the rest of his strength was exhausted. If the enemy is not dead yet, then I don't have much strength left, and I'm afraid I will be beaten to death by the enemy. It seems that I really need to find a way so that I can exhaust my physical strength and destiny and create a continuous destiny. Divine Fist. He felt that what the undead said was very reasonable. Even if you have a few thousand kilograms or 10,000 kilograms of strength to kill with one move, you will eventually use it up. If the enemy is a master, the moment you use up all your strength, suddenly counterattack. At this moment, your 10,000 kilograms of strength has been exhausted, and there is not even a few taels of money left. He only needs to use 3 kilograms of strength to defeat your 10,000 kilograms of strength. A big ship, when the wind is favorable, when the current is going smoothly, if the sail is fully stretched and the ship is sailing forward, it is easy to hit the rocks and capsize. In life and work, you must leave room for success. The real secret of boxing is the 4 characters of more than enough but not enough. Kill with one punch, there must be some spare power. No matter how powerful and thunderous the opponent's fist is, I should always use one move to have spare power. I punched out one punch after another, 10 punches and 10 more punches, even it's 20 punches. If your punch power is always inexhaustible, you will always be invincible. It can only be said that he is worthy of being the overlord of the ancient universe and the undead with the most experience in combat. Just one glance, and you can see the shortcomings of his destiny fist were revealed. Thinking of this, he admired the Immortal even more. If the opponent hadn't pointed it out, he really wouldn't have been able to see the real weakness of this fist. Hearing these words, the corners of the Immortal's mouth twitched. He didn't know what to say. In fact, he didn't mean it at all, because this divine fist of destiny struck out with one punch. This was a sure hit and a sure death. One punch. The endless corrosive force of fate is so terrifying that not many lords of the universe can stop it. If it is blasted out with one punch, the enemy will definitely die, and a second punch is still needed. Although this boxing method does have flaws, because it is too powerful, the power may be gone after a few punches, but to be honest, this is completely enough. If you can punch dozens or hundreds of punches, wouldn't it mean killing a group of people? Titled the Lord of the Universe? He can even beat the Lord. But judging from what this guy means, it seems that this Fist of Destiny can still be improved. Damn, this boxing itself is extremely terrifying. If it can be improved and continues to evolve, wouldn't that mean he was going against the will of heaven? He was going to be invincible. To be honest, he wanted to dissuade Furukawa from improving. If he continued to improve, he would not let others live. However, the Immortal could not lose his superior demeanor. Standing with his hands behind his back, he nodded slightly. You can teach me, boy. It seems that you have indeed understood the principles of boxing. Go back and study it carefully, and then come back after you have perfected it. Don't worry, Senior Immortal. After I perfect it, I will definitely come back and compete with Senior again. And next time I will come in person and use my true strength. Furukawa said seriously. After hearing this, the undead body trembled for a while. Damn, this monster will not only come to fight with him, but also plans to come in person. This is to beat him to death. Now do young people like to bully old men so much? To be honest, he almost wants to retire. There is no way he can survive these days. Well, yes, young people are ambitious, and this is how they can hope to surpass their masters. The undead man put his hands behind his body. His hands were shaking a little unconsciously. He just received Furukawa's punch, and he felt that his body was numb. It is estimated that his body will not be able to do anything about it in a short time. He recovered so quickly. Senior, that's it for today. Furukawa looked at the undead, the prophet and the void fisherman, and said, I have been bothering you all these days, and I have benefited a lot from listening to your sermons. Next time I have the opportunity, I will definitely repay you. Now I have some thoughts. Maybe I need to retreat for a while. I'm afraid I have to leave temporarily. It doesn't matter. If you want to come, you can come to my house at any time. You are always welcome. The Void Angler smiled heartily. Yes, the three of us basically stay together. If we want to come, we can come at any time. The prophet nodded. Okay, farewell then.
Furukawa nodded.
He flashed and disappeared from this place in an instant, returning to the original imperial city. At this time, the Void Angler and the prophet both looked at the undead with strange expressions on their faces. Old man, stop pretending. You must have been working hard just now. Your hands kept shaking. The Void Angler laughed. There was a bang. At this moment, the undead could no longer hold it in. He fell to the ground all of a sudden, gasping for air. His whole body was shaking and sweating profusely. Damn, this kid is a monster. This is the first time since the Lord that someone with the title of Lord of the Universe has forced me to this point. I almost couldn't hold it up just now, and my secret was almost exposed. The undead was panting heavily and sweating profusely. It was obvious that he was exhausted at this moment, and his physical strength and soul power had almost reached the point of exhaustion. It seemed that he would faint at any time in the next second. Past normal. It seems that the punch just now pushed you to a serious point. When the prophet saw this situation, he couldn't help but sigh. To be honest, he hadn't seen the undead being forced to this point for a long time. This was a rare scene in ancient times. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 963. Too hard. Hearing this, the undead sneered. You were just watching the show, and you didn't really come into contact with the punch just now, so you don't know the horror of the Fist of Destiny just now. That was a punch that gathered the fate of countless lives and contained the terrifying corrosive power of fate. Crush it with one punch, and it would destroy everything. Fortunately, he didn't use all his strength just now, and he had just created it, so he didn't know much about the power of boxing. If it had been a little more powerful, I might have been disappointed.
What?
The prophet and the Void Angler looked at each other. They were both shocked to see each other. They could actually let the famous undead say such words. You can imagine the horror of that punch just now. Definitely not as simple as they imagined. Is it really that scary? The Void Angler can't believe it. It's only more terrifying than what I said. This is the most powerful boxing technique I have ever seen. I really don't know how he created it. If his cultivation level is higher, he may be able to sweep the title of Lord of the Universe. The Immortal side. Immortal, don't belittle yourself. The reason why you feel that you can't block this punch is because you are injured. The injuries that were severely injured by the master have not recovered yet, and your strength is very low. If you were in your prime, this punch would probably not be a big deal. The prophet said solemnly. Indeed.
The
Immortal did not deny this. But you have forgotten this. I was not at my peak, and that kid was never at his peak. He was just a kid who had not even survived a reincarnation in the universe. What would happen if he was given another period of time to grow and his cultivation level was on par with ours? He said that he did not belittle himself, but had a clear understanding of the strength and potential of both parties. Haha, I didn't expect that the extremely proud undead would be defeated one day. It's interesting. It's so interesting. The Void Angler laughed, very happy. You did catch an unimaginably big fish this time. The Immortal sighed. It is indeed a variable outside of fate. It is really beyond our imagination. The prophet couldn't help but nod. Just after spending some time together, he felt that Furukawa's unexpected variables and completely unpredictable actions were really unbelievable. If he hadn't witnessed it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have seen it with his own eyes. I can't believe that such a person actually exists in the world. However, the speed of his cultivation is too fast. If he continues like this, he may soon be able to reach the peak of the title of Lord of the Universe. Once he breaks through to become the Lord, he will probably die. The Void Angler frowned, worried about this. To be honest, although Furukawa is a monster, he can be promoted to the realm of domination. Who is not a monster in the world? As a giant who has suppressed one supreme era after another and lies at the end of the long river of history, after suppressing countless unparalleled geniuses, so far, the 9 masters have never fallen or encountered any challenge. If they face only one master, that's it, but if they face 9 masters at the same time, they will definitely die. Therefore, no matter how evil Furukawa is, if he breaks through the Dominion rashly, he will definitely be beaten to death and follow in the footsteps of those ancestors. This is the dark age of countless geniuses. Even people like him, who have the hope of stepping into the Dominion realm, will not dare to step in at will, for fear of being beaten to death by the master. No need to worry so much. The prophet smiled slightly. We have told him so much before. I believe he already knows the seriousness of the matter and will not make a breakthrough rashly. If he didn't know anything before, he might have been ignorant and made a breakthrough. Then he would face the suppression of the 9 masters. But now that he knows this, he will not be reckless. He is also a smart man who knows how to look for information, so he is willing to take risks and come to look for the Void Angler. I think he has great hope of making a breakthrough, and he is not that reckless person. He is very optimistic about Furukawa. He feels that although Furukawa is good at boxing, he seems to be better at resourcefulness. He is not the kind of reckless man who will not be impulsive. Indeed, having said so much, if you are still ignorant and fearless, then you deserve to be beaten to death. But this kid doesn't seem to be short-lived and should be able to live for a long time. The undead laughed. Still laughing, you were beaten really badly this time. I'm afraid it will take a long time to recover. The Void Angler said speechlessly. This time it's not too bad, it's just a minor injury. It will probably take a few hundred years to recover, just a minor injury. The undead said lazily. But according to my current condition, I probably won't be able to go back. I won't be able to walk at all. You'd better take me back. It seems like someone is coming, let's go. At this moment, the prophet's heart moved, and he suddenly said, in fact, this infernal secret realm is not just used by them. It is a very famous secret realm that is often used in the battles of the Lord of the Universe. But I want to use it. You need to queue up to use the infinite secret realm, or pay a certain price. But the ancient masters of the universe, such as the Prophet, the Undead, and the Void Angler, have extremely high authority and wide contacts, so they can naturally use it anytime and anywhere. Let's go. The Void Angler grabbed it with his big hand, and in an instant, the three of them disappeared from this place. The place also suddenly returned to calm, as if they had never been there before. Whoosh whoosh. At this time, waves of void fluctuations appeared in the infinite secret realm, and then more than a dozen people named Lords of the Universe appeared. They suddenly appeared in this place. Is this the famous secret realm of infernal affairs? Legend has it that the secret world cannot be destroyed even by the titular master of the universe, fighting with all his strength. A title Lord of the Universe said with emotion. Holy shit, what the hell is going on? Why did the secret realm of Wuxia become like this? It was in tatters and tatters everywhere. The other title, the Lord of the Universe, was dumbfounded. He found that the secret realm of Infinite Realm was completely different from before. The entire earth was cracked, with countless astonishing traces appearing. Even terrifying cracks appeared in the void, just like the end of the world. This was the first time he saw the Wuxian secret realm transformed into its entire state. I'm afraid that the two terrifying lords of the universe were fighting just now, which made the Wuxian secret realm look like this. The strength of the two lords of the universe may be close to that of the master. A title Lord of the Universe said in a deep voice, with a very serious expression. What? The expressions of these title Lords of the Universe changed. They all felt that this matter was unusual. Actually, before they came, there were two powerful ones. The title Master of the Universe fought in this place and left indelible traces of the battle. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 964. At this moment, within the origin of the six-path universe, Furukawa sat cross-legged in the void, with the three techniques that the cultivator had just created: the hand of collecting wandering treasures, the technique of substitute death, and the divine fist of destiny. Especially when practicing the divine fist of destiny, he felt that the endless power of destiny was gathering on himself. The more this boxing technique has the power to control destiny, the more terrifying the power of the punch will be. If you can control the life of a chaotic universe, you can gather the power of destiny of life in the entire chaotic universe. If it is activated instantly, the infinite corrosive power of destiny can instantly kill any of the titled lords of the universe.
Wow.
At this moment, Furukawa felt that after successfully cultivating these three doomsday-level techniques, his control over the Six Paths universe had reached a higher level, with a higher degree of integration. In an instant, the huge power of the origin of chaos surged forward and was instilled in the depths of his consciousness, causing the power of cosmic reincarnation in him to increase at a geometric rate. The power of 10,000 universes of reincarnation, the power of 100,000 universes of reincarnation, the power of 500,000 universes of reincarnation, the power of 1,000,000 universes of reincarnation, the power of 3,000,000 universes of reincarnation, the power of 5,000,000 universes of reincarnation. In the end, I feel that the original energy in my body has increased to the power of 50 million cosmic reincarnations. You must know that before, his power only reached 30 million cosmic reincarnation powers, but now it has been increased to 50 million, a full increase of 20 million. It can be said that the speed of progress is too fast. The power of 50 million cosmic reincarnations. Furukawa's eyes showed a frightening light. He knew why he was progressing so fast. It was because the time for the end of the Six Paths contest for gods was getting closer and closer.
It can be said that
He felt that his heart was bleeding, as if someone had cut a piece of flesh. To be honest, there is nothing more disgusting than this in the world. This little thief actually did it in front of them. In front of him, he directly stole the origin text. He didn't even know how the other party did it. This was a slap in his face. But he also knew that he was just saying angry words, and the other party stole it all. It is impossible to return the origin text, even if there is something wrong with the brain. Now he can only stare, helpless. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverseaudio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 968. At this moment, Furukawa was still happily using his wandering treasure collection hand to collect treasures one by one in the void. He didn't know that he actually grabbed an origin text in front of the collector. This incident disgusted the collector, making him furious and angry. Of course, even if Furukawa knew about this, he wouldn't care. After all, this is the origin text. It doesn't matter if he offends the other party. Even if they are fighting each other, they still have to get the origin text. The origin text is such a precious treasure. I've been sending it out. This time, I'm really sending it out. Furukawa couldn't be more excited. He grabbed all the huge light spots in the depths of the sea of consciousness with his wandering treasure collection hand. It can be said that he obtained too many treasures this time. The chaos treasure alone was dozens or hundreds of items appeared, and 5 or 6 treasures of the cosmic secret treasure level were captured, as well as countless other precious treasures. Of course, the most precious among them was the unconscious origin text. This time, he had enough. He has captured 33 origin texts, and each origin text contains huge power and is filled with an incredible aura of origin. You must know that it is amazing for other titles like the Lord of the Universe to get 1 or 2 origin texts, but suddenly 33 origin texts were obtained. If this matter was known by other universe masters, or even by the master, I am afraid that countless masters and masters of the universe would immediately be hunted down and killed without a complete body. After all, these treasures are so precious that even the Lord will covet them. No, I have to go back quickly. I can't stay in this place any longer. Furukawa's eyes showed a glimmer of light. Although he captured the 33 origin words, they were only temporarily sealed and have not been completely refined. It can be said that the 33 origin words do not completely belong to him. If the powerful Lord of the Universe passes by, he will definitely find that he is carrying a rare treasure. He is just a clone now, and accidents can easily happen. Moreover, all the precious treasures in this garbage dump of the universe have been captured by him. After obtaining 7 or 88, the remaining treasures are probably not very valuable. So he might as well leave this place and put all the treasures into a safe place.
Whoosh.
Thinking of this, Furukawa did not hesitate and immediately took out any door. With a flash of his body, he left this place in an instant and returned to the 6 Paths universe. Not long after Furukawa left, the collector and other masters of the universe also ran out of the garbage dump. They seemed to sense Furukawa, the aura, wanting to chase and kill. Damn it, that kid ran away. What happened? I clearly sense the presence of the Lord of the Universe in this place, but why did it disappear so quickly? Where did it go? Who on earth, which bastard is so brave, dared to steal our origin text in front of the collector boss? It is really abominable. What method did that guy use, and how could he run so fast? The masters of the universe were furious and yelled. They were extremely angry. The loss of the origin text was an unparalleled heavy loss. I don't know how many adventures it took to make up for it, but now it's too late to say anything. The one who stole the origin, the Lord of the Universe of Words, has left here a long time ago. Even if they want to catch up, it is impossible. They can't find the other party's whereabouts at all. Just wait for me. I will remember you. Don't let me find you. Otherwise the collector, will never be done with you. The collector gritted his teeth and completely memorized Furukawa's aura. But now he has no choice but to sulk. After all, even if he wants to catch up with the opponent, it is impossible. At this time, Furukawa also returned to the 6 Paths universe.
Wow.
Immediately, 33 origin words floated in front of him, emitting waves of mysterious avenue fluctuations. The origin fluctuations seem to symbolize the power of a law of origin. It seems that these words represent the origin power of the entire world. As long as you control these words, It is equivalent to mastering the laws of the source of all power, and you can increase your combat effectiveness to a level unprecedented in ancient times. But just refining these origin texts seems to be a pity. Furukawa touched his chin. Although it is a good choice to refine these origin words and integrate them into his own body, he feels that the power of these origin words cannot be fully exerted. It is like a rough stone that needs to go through only through continuous polishing can it be formed like a diamond. And the same is true for these origin words. The power of the origin words alone is still too small. If these origin words are thoroughly refined and integrated into each magic weapon, they will surely be able to exert a lasting effect. Unprecedented power. 33 origin words, that is, 33 secret treasures of the universe are refined. Furukawa narrowed his eyes. Is this a certain fate? Perhaps these 33 origin words can be refined into 33 treasures. In fact, he has long wanted to refine the 33 worlds in the heaven. This is the true divine world, and each treasure represents a world. Once the condensation is successful, these 33 worlds the power of the treasure must be unprecedented and beyond imagination. Moreover, these 33 cosmic secret treasures and 33 origin texts can be combined with each other to form a complete magic weapon formation, bursting out with terrifying power.
Yes.
You must know that the power of a single origin text is actually relatively weak, unless it is an inherently powerful origin text. Once refined, it can suppress the heavens. But the power of ordinary origin texts is not as powerful as imagined. None of the 33 origin characters collected by Furukawa this time have super powerful power, but he wants to combine these 33 origin characters and refine them into magic weapons to form a magic weapon array. In this way, he can exert the power of the 33 origin words to the fullest extent, and I am afraid that the power can be compared with the real treasure of the universe. If he can master such a treasure of the universe, I am afraid that he can sweep all the titles of the King of the Universe. The Lord can even slightly resist the power of the Lord. This can also play a huge role in his future fight against the Eternal River. Therefore, it can be said that it is imperative to refine the 33-day treasure. It looks like a lot of bleeding is needed this time. Furukawa touched his chin. In order to refine the 33 secret treasures of the universe, I am afraid that he will need to dig out the materials he has accumulated for many years. But to him, this is nothing at all. After all, these materials are piled up in the warehouse, and it's just a waste. It's better to use it to refine magic weapons, which is still worth the money. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 969. Years passed by, and hundreds of millions of years passed in the blink of an eye. During this period of time, Furukawa has been refining magic weapons and took out a large amount of precious materials from the warehouse. And today, he finally succeeded in refining it.
Wow.
In an instant, 33 magic weapons were floating in the midair, filled with bursts of treasure light, and countless chaos restrictions emerged from the deepest part of each magic weapon. These 33 magic weapons are integrated with each other and complement each other. It seems that each magic weapon contains the ultimate power. Once it breaks out, it will definitely be earth-shattering. Finally half done. Furukawa smiled slightly, feeling filled with a sense of accomplishment. After spending so much time and so many materials, he finally refined 33 secret treasures of the universe, which are the 33 treasures. They are the Heaven-Suppressing Ring and the Heaven-Gathering Ring. Wheel, Heaven-Destroying Sword, Tyrant Sword, Heaven-Transforming Staff, Heaven-Stealing Spear, Tongtian Bridge, Glorious Heaven Bracelet, Heaven-Zune Crown, Battle Axe, Heaven-Matching Furnace, Heaven-Stealing Claw, Heaven-Sealing Lock, Heaven-Stealing Ladder, Heaven-Collapse Blade, Broken Heaven Picture, Transforming Heaven Armor, Shaking Heaven Bell, Optimus Prime, Zishanman, Wutian Umbrella, Swallowing Heaven Cauldron, Hiding Heaven Clothes, Hiding Heaven Pocket, Void Heaven Hook, Overlord. Spear, Death Heaven Bow, breaking heaven arrows, sky-shaking hammer, zhou tianyi, cave eye, heaven-seizing pot, heaven-receiving gourd, etc. Each of the secret treasures of the universe contains earth-shattering power. This is the first time Furukawa has refined such a mass in batches after he became the title lord of the universe. There are many cosmic secret treasures, which is also the peak state of his current weapon refining level. However, the 33 treasures are only half completed at present and are not completely completed because the 33 origin texts have not been integrated into them. Go ahead. In an instant, Furukawa waved his hand, and the 33 origin characters on his body flew out in an instant and landed on the 33 cosmic secret treasures.
Boom tilde tilde.
And these 33 cosmic secret treasures immediately vibrated. They each swallowed an origin text, and then their bodies immediately underwent earth-shaking changes. These origin words themselves were filled with incredible origin energy and the power of origin laws, instantly changing every secret treasure of the universe, making its body has undergone a huge transformation. It seems that at this moment, every secret treasure of the universe is evolving, and constantly evolving.
Wow.
From these 33 treasures, countless treasures of light bloom. Vaguely, deep within them, a cave world was born. And this cave world is filled with rich power of creation. Every living being living in this cave world will receive huge power of creation and can cultivate in order to make rapid progress. Even for the gods, the benefits are infinite. It is the top cave, heaven paradise in the world. At the same time, each cave world seems to be layered on top of each other, all superimposed on top of each other, one layer after another, forming the 33 heavens, filled with the infinite breath of creation. It can be said that these 33 cosmic secret treasures have evolved into immeasurable magic weapons. Each cosmic secret treasure contains the terrifying power of the origin text. Refining. With a thought, Furukawa refined the 33 treasures almost instantly. At the same time, he also refined the 33 origin words and integrated them into his body and soul. The reason why it is so simple is because of these three. The 13-day treasure was refined by him, and it was incomparable with his body and soul power. And the 33 origin words were also integrated into these magic weapons, so his refining of these magic weapons was equivalent to refined 33 origin texts and obtained 33 origin energies. At this moment, Furukawa found that 33 kinds of origin energy and huge information about the laws of origin poured into his body in an instant. His understanding of the laws of origin was improved many times compared to before. He finally knew why. After the Lord of the Universe masters the origin text, he will be several times more powerful than before. This is because mastering an origin text is equivalent to mastering the full power of an origin law. For example, the sword of the origin text. After mastering the origin of the sword, he has naturally mastered all the principles of swordsmanship and has endless sword intention and sword energy in his every move, which can easily tear apart all laws. Any strong man who practices swordsmanship will melt all swordsmanship attacks in front of him. Because it is invisible, even the attacks of those strong swordsmen will be swallowed and absorbed, completely strengthening the power of the origin text. It can be said that mastering one word of sword is equivalent to becoming the master of swordsmanship. Even if you did not know any swordsmanship before, but after mastering the origin power of the sword, you will naturally become a master of swordsmanship, and you can learn it by yourself without a teacher. In the same way, Furukawa, who has mastered the 33 origin texts, feels that he has completely mastered the 33 origin texts. The three laws of origin grasp the ultimate principles of the 33 paths of cultivation. Even the more people practice this path, and the more strong people practice this path, the more powerful the power of this origin text will be. Almost it's immeasurable. Just like the way of the sword, if there are more people practicing swordsmanship and more masters of swordsmanship, then the power of the origin text of sword will be stronger, surpassing other origin texts. In fact, the power of most origin texts, there is no distinction between them. It's just that in the entire universe, The more creatures that practice this path and the more powerful people that practice this path, the stronger the power of this origin text will be. Mastering this origin writing is equivalent to becoming the strongest person on this path of cultivation, and it will be difficult for any newcomer to surpass him. And the more he practices this path, the more he will only provide power to the Lord of the Universe, who has mastered the origin of writing. The 33 worlds, the 33 treasures, are the 33 ways of cultivation. Furukawa clenched his fists. He finally knew what kind of powerful power he had mastered. With the power of the 33 treasures, he could simply sweep the title of Lord of the Universe. If the 33 origin words where the power is superimposed, and with one blow, infinite power of creation is created, which can kill the Lord of the Universe in an instant. The power of this power is definitely beyond the imagination of most Lords of the Universe. It is estimated that throughout the ages, except for the Lord of the Universe apart from this, there is no other Lord of the Universe who can actually obtain 33 origin texts at the same time like him. This is something that has never happened in ancient times. After all, most of the origin texts are actually written by 9. The Great Master has taken it away, and there are only a handful of origin texts that can be taken away by the title of Lord of the Universe. And these 33 origin texts can be considered extremely rare fish that slipped through the net. If Furukawa didn't have the wish compass, then no matter what, they can't be found. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 970. At this time, in the Universe C. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, 5 titled Lords of the Universe appeared in this chaotic void, each of them exuding an extremely powerful aura and possessing at least 40 to 50 million cosmic reincarnation powers. They smell of disaster, death, etc., as if they are messengers of doom carrying endless disasters. Lord of Time Wings, do you think we can find the Lord of 6 paths of reincarnation? A man named the Lord of the Universe said. I don't know. Although we came out at the Lord's command to go to the Cosmic Sea to find the Lord of the 6 paths of reincarnation, but the Cosmic Sea is so big and vast that even if the Lord comes to look for it in person, it will probably be like finding a needle in a haystack. The Lord of Wings said in a deep voice, indicating that there is not much hope of finding the Lord of 6 paths of reincarnation. Indeed, after all, we only know the other person's name from the Master's mouth, but apart from the name, we don't know anything about him. We don't know his strength, appearance, and breath. I'm afraid, even if the other person now in front of us, we may not know whether the other party is the Lord of 6 paths of reincarnation. A man named the Lord of the Universe said, helplessly. That's not the case. According to the Master, the Lord of the 6 paths of reincarnation is extremely special. He possesses the supreme power of reincarnation. He is an extremely special title called the Lord of the Universe. It is no small matter. If we meet by chance, we will definitely be able to detect the identity of the other party. The Lord of Wings said in a deep voice. Although we say this, we have been out for such a long time, and so far, we have not been able to find the Lord of the 6 paths of reincarnation. We are simply aimless. Indeed, there is no goal. Everything depends on fate. I don't know when I will complete the task. Maybe I may not be able to find the Lord of 6 paths of reincarnation after thousands of years of reincarnation in the universe. There is no way. This is the order of the Master. Even if it takes hundreds of millions of years of universe reincarnation, we must complete the mission of the Master. Unless it is the order of the Master, we cannot end this mission. In fact, I think this is not a bad thing. Anyway, this task has no time limit. We can treat it as a trip and stop and go. There is no need to be so troubled and nervous. Haha, I actually think so too. It's rare to leave the continent of origin and go to the Cosmic Sea to be lazy. Just treat it as a long-lost vacation. Several masters of the universe were talking about it, and their attitude was very relaxed. They regarded this mission as a rare vacation, and there was no need to be too nervous. Yes, but it's not just us who came out this time. It can be said that most of the titled lords of the universe came out in full force and went to various places in the universe. To be honest, this is the first time I have seen the Lord work so hard. The title master of the universe narrowed his eyes. I don't know why the master is so nervous. He is just the title master of the universe. Can he really threaten the master? He was very puzzled that Eternal River was so laborious and felt that it was making a fuss out of a molehill. Indeed. The Lord of Time Wings couldn't help but nodded. To be honest, there have been some demon-level masters of the universe who appeared before, but the masters were not so nervous, and they casually crushed each other to death, just like squeezing an ant to death. This time the master actually worked so hard, which proves that this time is definitely unusual. You must know that the Lord has the ability to predict the future. Could it be that it has seen the future scene? The Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation may pose a huge threat to it, so it wants to strike first and strangle the enemy in the cradle. A title lord of the universe couldn't help but express his guess. No, what a powerful existence the Overlord is. It has been an invincible existence from ancient times to the present, an immortal strong man who can compete with the Overlord. Isn't this a joke? No, you can't say that. The so-called unpredictable situation, who knows what will happen in the future? In short, the attitude of the Lord this time is very unusual, which is enough to prove the level of trouble that the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation has. There is no need to speculate too much. We are all loyal subordinates of the Lord, so we naturally stand on the Lord's side. No matter what the origin of the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation is, as long as we find traces of him, we will directly kill him and eradicate him. You are right, the enemy of the Lord is our enemy. Since the Lord feels that the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation is a threat, then we can just help kill him. There is no need to think so much. Many people with the title Lord of the Universe were talking about it, with strong murderous intent in their tone. Having reached such a state, their Taoist hearts have long been tempered like steel and cannot be shaken by any external force. Since they have become the master subordinates, then they are the lackeys of the Eternal River, and any matter that is inconvenient for the Lord will be left to them. Of course, if they can become the Lord's subordinates, they will also receive the Lord's protection. They can literally walk sideways in the origin continent, and not many people dare to provoke them. At this moment, a universe master's heart moved, and he seemed to sense something. Look, there seems to be something wrong with this chaotic void. It seems to be shrouded by a huge chaos restriction formation, which has restrained the atmosphere of this place. To be honest, if I wasn't extremely sensitive to breath, I might have almost ignored it.
What?
Is there such a thing? Could it be that there is a secret realm of the cosmic sea here? Maybe there is a treasure hidden in it. I just happen to have cultivated the illusion-breaking divine eye, which can break through all the forbidden formations. Let me see who set up the forbidden formations in this place. What do they want to hide? Another one named Lord of the Universe circulates the divine eyes on his body.
Wow.
In an instant, rays of divine light erupted from his body, instantly penetrating the chaotic void in all directions, and the surrounding restricted formations were immediately destroyed and completely shattered. Immediately, a huge chaotic universe appeared in front of the Lord of Time Wings and others. Is there a chaotic universe here? No, it's not just a chaotic universe. How come it seems to contain the supreme power of reincarnation? The Lord of Time Wings was shocked. It suddenly discovered that a huge chaotic universe appeared in front of it. This chaotic universe was larger and more powerful than any chaotic universe it had ever seen, and it was filled with the terrifying reincarnation.
Breath.
This chaotic universe is like a giant beast of reincarnation, swallowing everything. And near this chaotic universe, 360 supreme universes appeared, like satellites, with stars arching over the moon.
Wow.
I saw this. The chaotic universe is breathing every moment, swallowing huge chaotic airflow, and strengthening its original power every second, increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 971. Is this a chaotic universe? How could it be so huge? No, it is not an ordinary chaotic universe. Even among many chaotic universes, it is one of the best. The original energy it contains is really amazing. How come there are so many supreme universes in this place? It's simply unheard of. It is devouring. This chaotic universe is devouring these 360 supreme universes, and it seems to be coming to an end. Once successful, this chaotic universe can evolve to a state that has never been seen in ancient times. It's unbelievable. When did the chaotic universe become stronger by devouring each supreme universe? It feels like this chaotic universe is alive. Indeed, it gives people an extremely weird feeling, very ominous. The breath of reincarnation seems to be able to sweep everything, swallow everything, and merge everything. Many titled masters of the universe were talking about it. Just by looking at it, they could sense that this chaotic universe was unusual and completely different. After all, they were all old monsters who had lived for who knows how long, and they were still the masters. His subordinates have been well informed for a long time, and it is impossible not to see the power of this chaotic universe. I know, the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation. This must be where the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation is. Suddenly, the Lord of Time Wings shouted, with a terrifying light in his eyes. The Lord of the Six Paths of Reincarnation? Really or not, this matter is of great importance, so you must not joke about it. Many titled lords of the universe were surprised. They couldn't help but look at the Lord of Time Wings, wanting to hear the other party's explanation as to why the Lord of Time Wings would make such a guess. It can't be fake. It must be true. The Lord of Time Wings' eyes showed a glint. No wonder the Lord said that as long as we meet the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation, we will definitely know that the other party is the target person, without any aura or appearance at all. Just by seeing this chaotic universe, I knew that the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation must be a monster that took away the origin of the chaotic universe, and also deduced the chaotic universe to its peak and condensed it into six paths of reincarnation. If he succeeds, then the power of these six reincarnations will be able to sweep across the entire cosmic sea, swallowing up the original power of one universe after another, and no one can stop it. Try to think about it. If all the universes in the entire universe sea were swallowed up by one life and merged into one, then who would still be his opponent? It couldn't help clenching its fists, and a huge shock surged deep in its heart. What? As soon as these words came out, many masters of the universe were shocked. If someone can really do such a thing, then the opponent's cultivation level will definitely be raised to a level that has never been seen in ancient times. Even the master may not be his opponent. Maybe even the master will be beaten to death, and he will be invincible. It turns out that with such potential, the cosmic sea actually brewed such a terrifying monster. No wonder even the master has to use all his strength to strangle the opponent in the cradle. The title lord of the universe couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva. If the other party really grows up, I'm afraid the lord will die. Yes, fortunately, the master has the ability to predict the future. He has seen the picture of the future and foresees the threat of the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation, so he must take action in advance and beat him to death. The title Lord of the universe finally knows why the Eternal River has worked so hard. Now that they have seen this chaotic universe, they immediately know how terrifying the threat from the other side is. Haha, if this is the case, then we are really successful. We are the first to find the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation. We will definitely gain a huge credit. The title Lord of the universe laughed and was very happy, because he actually found the legendary Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation before even the time of reincarnation in the universe came. Although it was just luck, when he found it, no matter how they found it. If the Lord knows about it, they will all be heavily rewarded by the Lord. So, what should we do now? Let's take action together to capture this so-called Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation. Or should we go back and report the news to the Lord, so that the Lord can take action himself? Asked a title Lord of the universe. Don't act rashly. I think it's better to inform the Lord of the news and let the Lord take action himself. The Lord of Time Wings said solemnly, although if we personally take action to capture this so-called Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation, we will gain the greatest credit and receive many rewards. But you have also seen the current situation. The Lord of the Six Paths of Reincarnation is not so easy to grasp as the Lord of the universe. With the strength of the five of us, we may not be able to succeed. And if it fails, the other party will definitely run away. It will not be that simple to find traces of this guy in the vast sea of space. Therefore, just in case, it is better to let the Master take action himself, so that the Master of the Six Paths of Reincarnation can be hammered to death instantly, making it impossible for him to escape. He gave his advice. I agree with the Lord of Time Wings' suggestion. Indeed, don't take risks, be 100% successful. Notify the Master immediately, and do not give the other party any chance to escape. Many titled lords of the universe nodded and agreed with the Lord of Time Wings' suggestion. They are all old monsters who have lived for who knows how many years, so they naturally know how to weigh the pros and cons. Although they personally took action and captured the Lord of Six Paths of Reincarnation, they deserved a lot of credit. Big, but the possibility of failure is also very high. Once they fail and let the other party run away, it will not be credit, but a serious crime. So they naturally have to choose a safe method. Even if the credit is less, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't work at all. The time and space in this place are chaotic. An extremely powerful force of destruction has destroyed all time and space images in this area, so it is impossible to trace back the past time. A man named the Lord of the Universe shook his head, saying that he had nothing to do. Sure enough, the enemy who killed the Lord of Time Wings was too powerful and had already destroyed all traces, making it impossible for us to track him. Many titled lords of the universe shook their heads. In fact, they had expected it from the beginning. After all, how powerful is the existence that can kill the Lord of Time Wings and others in an instant? Even if it is not the Lord, it must be second only to them, the dominant overlord of the universe. How could such a cosmic overlord leave any traces of himself? All traces must have been wiped out long ago. Of course, even if they know this, they still hope to trace some clues. Now comes the case. No clues could be found at the scene, so they had no choice but to give up. We have no way to trace it. It seems that we can only tell the Master about this matter. According to our ability, we cannot continue to trace it. A man named Lord of the Universe said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter. In fact, the Master also knows that there is a high possibility that we will return without success this time. The Master has already predicted it, so we don't need to worry about being punished by the Master. The question is who is so brave and dares to kill Lord Overlord's loyal subordinates? Is it because he wants to start a war with Lord Overlord? If you really want to start a war, I'm afraid you will directly reveal your identity and compete openly. Hiding your identity, like now, seems to be showing weakness. I guess it may be the other 8 masters, because only they are qualified to compete with the Master. Indeed, the Gate of Origin is about to appear again. It is said that the emergence of the Gate of Origin this time is extraordinary, and it is likely to spew out unprecedented divine objects. This time, even the 9 masters are extremely cautious, practicing in seclusion and accumulating their own energy. Power, unless it is a last resort, will not be released. It seems that these are trouble times. Even if we are the Master's subordinates, we may not be able to guarantee safety. In this world of great strife, we all need to be more careful. Many titled Masters of the universe are talking about it, and they all seem to feel the chilling atmosphere before the war. Once the 9 masters start a war, the war will not only affect the continent of origin, but may also affect the entire universe, sea, and everywhere. They will all become the battlefield for the masters and blow everything up. Even if they hide in the corners of the world, they cannot avoid this war. At this time, the Book of Six Paths of Reincarnation was roaming in the cosmic sea. It was like a spaceship, traveling aimlessly throughout the cosmic sea. However, it has completely restrained its aura. No one knows that it is a chaotic universe, and the inner space contains countless lives. Furukawa has returned to the origin of the Six Paths universe. It seems that he has escaped the pursuit of the eternal river. Furukawa sensed that the danger lingering around him was gone. After refining the Six Paths universe into the Book of Six Paths of Reincarnation, he was completely out of danger. Even if the master came in person, he might not be able to find any trace of himself. After all, at this moment, the Book of Six Paths of Reincarnation is extremely fast, no less than any treasure in the universe. At the same time, it cannot be bound by the power of cause and effect and the power of fate, making it even more difficult to track. It can be said that as long as the Book of Six Paths of Reincarnation wants to escape, almost no one can chase it. Deserve it. However, the power of the 33 heavenly treasures is indeed unusual. The combined power of the 33 origin texts can kill even the Lord of the Universe in an instant without any resistance. Furukawa was amazed when he thought about what happened just now. Although he knew that the power of the 33 heavenly treasures was unusual, he did not expect to kill the 5 masters of the universe in an instant, leaving the other party with no way to escape. The news cannot be leaked. In fact, he is already prepared for failure and there are many follow-up methods, but obviously all the follow-up methods do not need to be used. The power of the 33-day treasure alone is enough to dominate the world. To be honest, he felt that the power of the 33 heavenly treasures could be compared with the magic whip that combines the power of evil thoughts of all living beings. However, the power of the 33 heavenly treasures has not reached its peak. It is just the beginning. We still need to find ways to increase the power of the 33 heavenly treasures. Furukawa's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. To be honest, the power of these 33 cosmic secret treasures all lies in the 33 origin words. The more powerful the origin words are, the more powerful the power of these cosmic secret treasures will naturally be. You must know that each an origin text represents an ultimate path of practice. If you want to enhance the power of the origin text, you need all living beings to choose this path of practice. The more cultivators who choose this path of practice, the stronger the cultivator will be. Then the power of the origin text will be stronger. Just like the way of sword, the way of sword, the way of staff, the way of spear, the way of axe, the way of claw, etc., every path can pointing directly to the pinnacle of the Great Road. It is unfathomable. So what he needs to do is actually very simple. That is, let all living beings practice these 33 paths of practice. The more people choose this path, then the origins of these 33 the power of words will be stronger. It's interesting, but this thing seems to be very simple. Just treat these 33 treasures as a certain inheritance world. I'm afraid it can attract all sentient beings to enter this inheritance world and obtain this cultivation method. Furukawa touched his chin. He decided to integrate the 33 heavenly treasures into the Six Paths universe, turning these 33 heavenly treasures into the 33 levels of the divine world. Each level represents a way of inheritance. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 977. Go ahead. Thinking of this, Furukawa did not hesitate. With a wave of his hand, he immediately removed the heaven-suppressing ring, heaven-galing wheel, heaven-destroying sword, tyrant sword, heaven-transforming staff, Etienne spear, Tom Tian bridge, Rong Tian bracelet, and Zun Tian on his body. Crown, battle axe, sky-matching furnace, sky-stealing claw, sky-sealing lock, sky-stealing ladder, sky-destroying blade, broken sky map, heaven-transforming armor, sky-shaking bell, Optimus Prime, Zishanman, Wutian umbrella and sky-swallowing cauldron, hidden sky cloves, hidden sky pocket, void sky hook, overlord spear, sky-destroying bow, sky-breaking arrow, sky-shattering hammer, Zhou Tianyi, Dong Tianai, seizing heaven pot, receiving Heaven Gourd, etc. All 33 treasures. They were all thrown out. Swish, swish. In an instant, these 33 cosmic secret treasures were instantly submerged into the divine world, and each cosmic secret treasure was instantly transformed into a huge secret world. For example, the heaven-destroying sword. It turned into a world of swords, which contains densely packed divine swords, recording countless sword techniques and the ways of swords. In this world, any living creature and any material living in this world is made of swords. And, for example, the tyrant sword has transformed into a world of swords, in which countless magical swords appear. Each sword represents a way of swordsmanship and records the supreme swordsmanship. It can be said that this world, all the creatures are masters of swordsmanship and are unfathomable. For example, Hidden Sky Clothes is a world of invisibility. All creatures in this world are proficient in the art of invisibility, taking on transparent forms and eliminating themselves silently. The sense of existence is extremely mysterious and unpredictable. Sky-breaking arrow. This is a world of arrows. There are densely packed bows and arrows everywhere. Every creature is a master of archery. When the bows and arrows are shot, they are always missed. It can be said that every cosmic secret treasure has been transformed into a world of inheritance, which inherits an ultimate avenue and contains countless secret methods of cultivation. This is the supreme power evolved from the original text, which is extremely mysterious.
Wow.
In an instant, one inheritance world after another appeared in the god realm, which immediately attracted the attention of countless gods and caused a huge shock. It seems that it will not be long before the strength of the creatures in the Six Paths universe will reach a higher level. Furukawa touched his chin. Although his action was to enhance the power of the 33 heavenly treasures, it is also a supreme opportunity for all living beings to maximize their own power. After all, this comes from due to the inheritance of the origin text. Every power represents the ultimate origin. If it were in the outside world, it would be impossible for a mortal to have such an adventure, and only Furukawa would release the power of the origin text to benefit all living beings. At this time, in the heavenly realm, the gods suddenly noticed that pieces of cosmic secret treasures suddenly appeared in the divine realm and felt an unparalleled power shaking the divine realm and shaking the chaotic void. It caused them all to have heart palpitations and seemed to contain a supreme edge. Immediately afterwards, bursts of chaotic Taoist sounds sounded in the sea of consciousness of all living beings. The 33-day inheritance world is born, which contains the ultimate way of cultivation. Those who are destined can enter it. It is born once in an era. Lord City Lord. This is the voice of Lord City Lord. A god immediately recognized the voice of the Lord of Chaos City. The 33-day inheritance world contains the ultimate way of cultivation. What is the ultimate way of cultivation? Is it really the way of cultivation that leads directly to the pinnacle of the Great Road? Some gods' eyes flickered, thinking about the meaning. What kind of person is the Lord of the City? His realm has reached an unpredictable level. Even the Lord of the City said that this is the ultimate way to practice. There is no doubt that this is the supreme inheritance. If you can get a copy of the inheritance, say he might not be able to step into the realm of the God Emperor. No, it is even possible to surpass the realm of the God Emperor. The god clenched his fists, and his eyes showed a glimmer of excitement. He could feel the blood in his body boiling. Opportunity. There is no doubt that this is a huge opportunity. There is no doubt that this must be the supreme inheritance created by the Lord of the City. This is an unparalleled opportunity. If we cannot seize it, we will definitely regret it for the rest of our lives. A god said in a deep voice. Mythical figures like the Lord of Chaos City rarely appear. The number of appearances can be said to be very few, but every time they appear, something earth-shattering must have happened. This is equivalent to a turning point of an era. And the same is true now with the emergence of the 33-day inheritance world, which will definitely change the pattern of the entire Six-Path universe. Beyond the God Emperor? When a god heard this, His heart suddenly pounded, and he was extremely excited. To be honest, we little people have no hope for the 6 paths to fight for gods, but we must fight for this ultimate inheritance. Although it is already the late stage of the 6 paths contest for gods, more and more people have actually been eliminated from the 6 paths contest for gods, and there is no hope at all. Basically, the overall situation of every supreme universe has been decided and has long been eliminated. Factions of gods have taken over one after another. The remaining gods who have no power, do not like to form cliques, or do not want to be subordinate to others have given up on the 6 paths. After all, no matter how hard they fight, they can't win over those who have the power. Gods on background. Although we have lost the qualifications to compete for gods among the 6 realms and cannot obtain the status of gods, we still have hope for transcendence. Perhaps hope lies in this ultimate inheritance. There are 50 avenues and 49 Tyanians. Humans can escape one of them. Sure enough, there is no perfect path for humans. I guess this is a path that the Lord of the City has provided for us losers to escape. Go and see what the so-called inheritance world is and what the ultimate way of cultivation is. Many gods are talking about it, and almost all the gods are excited. This is an unprecedented event. The emergence of such an ultimate way of cultivation is enough to shock all the gods. Even a fool will not miss such an opportunity. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, many gods gathered and went to the place where the 33 heavenly treasures appeared. Suddenly, they saw pieces of cosmic secret treasures floating in the chaotic void, blooming with endless treasure light, as if it contains unfathomable power and is filled with earth-shattering power. What kind of magic weapon is this? Why does it look so terrifying, as if a ray of energy can kill us all? The God Emperor was in disbelief. It felt that every treasure contained terrible power. It seemed that with just a slight movement, it could kill them all in this place. Even the God Emperor could not resist it. The cosmic secret treasure must be the legendary cosmic secret treasure. This is a magic weapon that transcends the treasure of chaos. It has reached an unimaginable level, so it can easily kill the God Emperor. A God Emperor couldn't help shouting. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 978. Secret Treasure of the Universe? Sure enough, it was an inheritance given by the Lord of the City. I am afraid that only the Lord of the City can take out such a magic weapon. Moreover, once taken out, there are 33 pieces, which is too exaggerated. All the gods were stunned. They all felt the wealth of the Chaos City Lord. It is difficult for ordinary gods to find even a chaos treasure. As for the cosmic secret treasure, it is unheard of. But as for the Chaos City Lord, it is fine if he does not take action. Once he takes action, it will be 33 cosmic secret treasures. Such a handiwork is simply too big to scare people to death. It is unbelievable. If they hadn't witnessed it with their own eyes, I'm afraid they wouldn't believe it. But since the Lord City Lord said that this is the 33-day inheritance world, can it be said that every cosmic secret treasure is an inheritance world? If so, how do we get in? A God Emperor was puzzled. It sensed that the breath of these 33 cosmic secret treasures was very terrifying, suspended in the chaotic void, and it did not dare to act rashly, lest it touch the aura of the cosmic secret treasures and kill them. Reached. Once it reaches this state, it will no longer act rashly. It will be extremely cautious in doing anything and think twice before acting. Mustard seeds are needed. The other God Emperor narrowed his eyes. I'm afraid that the inner space of each cosmic secret treasure must be an extremely vast and boundless world. If we want to inherit it, we must enter the inner world of these cosmic secret treasures. It expresses its speculations. Just now, the City Lord said that only those who are destined can enter, but those who are not destined cannot enter and cannot force it. A god narrowed his eyes. In other words, every cosmic secret treasure actually represents an ultimate way of cultivation. Choosing a cosmic secret treasure means choosing a cultivation method that suits you. It turns out that since I practice swordsmanship, I should probably choose this heaven-destroying sword. A god said in a deep voice. It stepped forward subconsciously, because it sensed that the secret treasure of the universe, the heaven-destroying sword, seemed to have a great attraction to it. In an instant, it had just approached, and the heaven-destroying sword seemed to bloom. It emits a huge light and swallows its entire body in an instant, making the other party disappear in this place all of a sudden. Haha, my guess just now is indeed correct. You have to choose a practice method that suits you. As long as you resonate with these secret treasures of the universe, you will get the corresponding ultimate inheritance. But there are only 33 ways of cultivation. If none of them are suitable, what should we do? There is nothing to do, that is, there is no chance, so I can only give up. Didn't you hear what the Lord City Lord said about those who are destined to enter? In other words, those who are not destined will not be able to obtain this ultimate inheritance. Gaga, I am good at axe. There happens to be a secret treasure of the universe, the battle axe. It seems that there is the ultimate way to practice axe. It seems that I am destined to enter it. I practice the way of spear technique, and I can feel that I have an inexplicable resonance with the heavenly spear. I am good at alchemy, and it seems that the patchwork furnace is destined to me. Many gods were talking about it, and they were all very excited, because their way of cultivation resonated greatly with these 33 treasures, and they were all destined to them. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as the words fell, 33 heavenly treasures the treasure began to vibrate, blooming with endless light, instantly swallowing up these gods and allowing them to enter their own inner world. The world where the heaven-destroying sword is located. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, a god who practiced swordsmanship entered the world, and they immediately felt that the world was boundless and vast. It was simply boundless and vast. Is this the world of swords? A god was extremely shocked. As soon as he entered this world, he immediately found that he had entered a sword cemetery. Billions of divine swords appeared on the barren earth. Each divine sword was inserted into the earth. Exuding an edge that pierces the heaven and earth, it seems that each divine sword represents the lifelong achievements of a sword master. In addition to the divine swords, there are also various plants, weeds, trees, flowers, etc. growing in this world, etc. But every bunch of flowers, every weed, every big tree seems to be a magic sword, containing incomparable sharp power and boundless terror. Even if you pick a weed, it can stab breaking through the sky. Earth-shattering sword energy erupted. He sensed that this world seemed to be condensed by the lifelong cultivation of countless sword masters. If he had the slightest hostility towards this place, he would be instantly attacked by the ubiquitous sword energy. Stabbed to death, the whole body will be beaten into a sieve. So, after entering this world of swords, are you looking for a suitable inheritance? A god closes his eyes and feels the various ways of swordsmanship, but not every way of swordsmanship is suitable for him, and not every path is suitable for his own practice. So, it must be in the vast world of practice. Find the path that suits you. Found it. In an instant, it sensed that in the wilderness, one of the divine swords was gently trembling. It seemed to be flowing with inexplicable Taoism, and it had an inexplicable resonance with its own body. Whoosh! It flashed and came in an instant. When he came in front of this divine sword, he stretched out his hand and took hold of this divine sword. Rumble. Suddenly, the god's body shook, and its soul seemed to be pulled by the divine sword into a void world of swords, filled with endless sword energy. And in the sky above these sword energy, a word suddenly appeared, that is sword. The moment the word sword appeared, it immediately knelt on the ground with tears streaming down its face. It seemed to feel the origin and ultimate of the avenue of sword, the vastness of the avenue of sword, and its own insignificance. The things I understood before were just superficial, like a drop in the ocean, not worth mentioning. Is this the ultimate way to practice? It's enough to ask questions in the morning and die in the evening. At this moment, The god felt the endless information of the great Tao pouring into the depths of his consciousness. His understanding of the laws of the great Tao was simply improving at a geometric rate. It had stagnated for an unknown length of time, because it is actually improving at a speed visible to the naked eye at this moment. At this moment, it senses that it is receiving a supreme kendo inheritance. A kendo seed seems to be condensed in the depths of the sea of consciousness, containing incomparable sword intention and sword power. Qi, soaring straight into the sky. In fact, it is not just that it has accepted such a sword inheritance. Everyone who enters this world of swords has found their own way of practice. One by one, they hold the long sword in their hands. The sword began to receive the supreme inheritance, and the projection of the origin word sword seemed to appear in the depths of the sea of consciousness. At this moment, they seemed to see the origin of the sword. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 979. The World Where the Radiant Furnace is Located. Whoosh whoosh. The alchemy masters entered this world one by one, and they immediately found themselves in a green world, with all kinds of elixirs growing everywhere. Almost all the elixirs in the world can appear in this place. On the earth, alchemy furnaces appeared one after another, containing incredible power of creation. Is this the inheritance world where the radiant furnace is located? This seems to be a world of alchemy, with elixirs everywhere. Forget-worn grass, yin-yang flower, albizia julibrison, 9 immortals vine, void grass, moon heart lotus. These are rare and top-quality holy medicines in the world. They are everywhere here. We are rich. My God, this is simply the dreamland of our alchemy masters, a dreamland where we can use all elixirs, holy medicines, and magic medicines at will. It's too exaggerated. It's really too exaggerated. Is this the inheritance world of alchemy? Many alchemy masters are extremely excited. They feel that they have simply arrived in an incredible world. This is simply the paradise that all alchemy masters dream of. At this time, some alchemy masters subconsciously stepped forward and approached one of the alchemy masters. Furnace. Rumble. In an instant, a huge message came from the alchemy furnace. It seemed that all the information about the alchemy method was instilled. It was like a sea, extremely surging. The alchemy master was extremely shocked. In a vague way, he seemed to see a word furnace, which seemed to contain the power of the origin of alchemy, the power to smelt everything. He felt that if he could master this word, he would be able to master all alchemy methods. It turns out that the real way to make alchemy is not just as simple as refining pills. It is a way to make up for the deficiency, the way to make up for the sky, and the way to make up for the excess. The alchemy master suddenly realized, if you want to know why people in the world need to take elixirs, it is because they are sick and need to take elixirs to treat their illnesses. Ascetics who practice slowly need elixirs to quickly increase their cultivation and save time. If the foundation is defective, then you need elixirs to make up for the foundation, cleanse the marrow, and cut the meridians. Even people with poor natural qualifications can take elixirs to improve their qualifications. In short, elixirs are almost omnipotent and can make up for all shortcomings. This is a supplement. The way of heaven is one of the escapes from the great way, and it makes up for the cultivation methods of mortals and geniuses. The method of refining elixirs is not just as simple as using elixirs to refine them. In fact, everything in the world can be used as medicine, and everything in the world can be made into elixirs. As long as you master the corresponding refining methods, you can make countless changes, and refining the sky. The pill. The alchemy master burst into tears. He felt that he had realized the truth at this moment. This meant that he could die in the morning and at night. It was not just him who accepted the inheritance. All the alchemy masters quickly stepped forward and accepted it. With this kind of inheritance, they feel that their understanding of the method of alchemy has improved to a higher level. They feel that they can refine everything in the world into elixirs, and they are almost omnipotent. the inheritance world where the heaven-stealing claw is located. Whoosh whoosh. All the gods entered this world, but as soon as they entered this world, they were confused. Damn it, who stole the magic weapon from me? Damn it, I hunt geese all day long, but my eyes were pecked out by geese. I am a great thief and my underwear was stolen without even knowing it. Give it back to me immediately, this is my magic weapon, how can you steal it? Damn it, not only can you steal the magic weapons from us, but you can also steal our blood and magical powers. What kind of world is this? Damn. It seems that even memories can be stolen, so be careful. Many gods have their hairs standing on end. They sense that this inheritance world is completely different. It is not just as simple as obtaining inheritance, but it also involves a certain degree of danger.
Wow.
The moment they appeared in this world, it seemed that a series of shadows of nothingness appeared, like goblins, and instantly stole all the treasures from them. And these gods themselves are the great gods in the world of thieves. They don't know how many things they have stolen, and they don't know how many gods they have falling into their hands. But now, after entering this world, their treasures are easily stolen. Got you. In an instant, a god seemed to have set a trap, and instantly caught one of the thieving goblins.
Boom.
The moment he caught the goblin instantly vaporized and turned into a huge one. The flow of information instantly sank into the depths of his consciousness. I see. The god immediately understood that it is not that simple to obtain the inheritance of this world. You must pass the test. If you fail, you will be excluded from this inheritance world. In an instant, he sensed countless the message of the way of stealing was transmitted. It seemed that a word, stealing, appeared in the depths of his consciousness, filled with infinite power of origin. It seemed that this word could steal everything about him, the way of stealing the sky. Is it true that the way of stealing is so profound? The god knelt on the ground, with tears streaming down his face. He felt that there were vast amounts of cultivation methods for stealing the Tao. Compared with them, he was just a little thief. He didn't know how far behind he was. The inheritance world where Feng Tianxia is located. Whoosh whoosh. One by one, the gods entered this inheritance world in an instant, and they instantly felt that their cultivation was sealed. The originally powerful cultivation level has now disappeared all of a sudden and turned into Immortal. What happened? Has our cultivation been sealed? I can't use any strength at all. What kind of sealing technique is this? And how can it be so terrifying and mysterious? No, it didn't seal my cultivation. It sealed my emotions. I have lost my emotions now, and now I can no longer feel any joy, anger, sorrow, or joy. Damn, it has sealed my vision, hearing, and touch. I have lost my 5 senses. Oh my God, even my 6th sense has been completely sealed now. Oh my God, my bloodline. My bloodline has been sealed. I feel that the bloodline of the chaos demon god in my body has completely disappeared. My bloodline has transformed into Immortal. I understand this is a test. The supreme sealing technique is inherited here. If we want to obtain the inheritance here, we must remove the seal on ourselves before we can obtain the supreme sealing technique here. Many gods were extremely shocked and talked about it. They calmed down immediately and entered the state. If they cannot unlock this seal, I am afraid they will be eliminated from the inheritance world here in an instant. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 980. Rumble. The Heaven-Suppressing Ring, the Heaven-Covering Wheel, the Heaven-Destroying Sword, the Overlord Sword, the Heaven-Transforming Staff, the Heaven-Eliminating Spear, the Tongtian Bridge, the Rongtian Bracelet, the Heaven-Respecting Crown, the Battle Axe, the Heaven-Mending Furnace, and the Heaven-Stealing Claw, Sealing Heaven Lock, Stealing Heaven Ladder, Heaven Collapse Blade, Broken Heaven Picture, Transforming Heaven Armor, Shaking Heaven Bell, Optimus Prime, Heaven Gate, Wutian Umbrella, Heaven Swallowing Cauldron, Hiding Heaven Clothes, Hiding Heaven Pocket, void heaven hook, the 33 heavenly treasures such as the tyrant spear, the sky-destroying bow, the sky-shattering arrow, the shocking hammer, the zhou tianyi, the heavenly eye, the heaven-seizing pot, and the heaven-receiving gourd have been completely transformed into the inheritance world. Every world in the heaven contains the ultimate way of cultivation, which is the power from which everything originates. Many gods enter it, and if they see the origin text, they will immediately benefit a lot, as if they have seen the end of the road, and no one knows how big the benefits will be. Whoosh whoosh. I don't know how much time passed, but suddenly, the gods were immediately excluded from the 33rd heaven world and fell to the earth. It is indeed the ultimate place of inheritance. I have obtained a supreme inheritance. I am afraid even the God Emperor has hope. Yes, I was originally trapped in the realm of the God King and couldn't break through for a long time, but it's different now. I actually understood many great laws. I seem to have seen the end of a path of spiritual practice. Sure enough, we are just rookies who have just embarked on the path of seeking the path. Compared with the real strong people, we still don't know how far behind we are. Opportunity. This is indeed the supreme opportunity given to us by the Lord of the city. Many gods are extremely excited. After they entered the world of the 33rd heaven, they passed the assessment, obtained huge inheritance information, and gained huge benefits. Each one of them clearly understood their own way of cultivation and knew how to move forward, which will be of immeasurable benefit to their future practice. It's a pity that the time for enlightenment is too short. If the time is longer, the benefits we will gain will be greater. A god couldn't help but sigh. Yes, after this time is over, I'm afraid it will take an era for the next time. The other god also nodded. After all, the time for each 33-day treasure to be opened is limited, and it will be born once in an era. The time of an era is actually not particularly long, and it is acceptable, but the number of times we can enter is limited, not countless times. A god said in a deep voice. For gods, an era is not a very long time. I am afraid that a retreat is more than an era, so to them this little time is nothing. They even feel that time is not a long time. It's very short. 9 is the ultimate number. We can only go in 9 times. If we go in 9 times, then we will never be able to go in again. We must seize these opportunities and not rush in and waste the opportunity. A god said seriously. For these gods, the biggest problem is that there is a limit on the number of times they can enter the world of the 33rd heaven. Everyone has only 9 chances to enter. If they enter 9 times, there's no way to get in anymore. 9 opportunities are not bad. This is simply equivalent to 9 opportunities to gain enlightenment. It is simply a supreme opportunity. I am really grateful to the Lord of the city. Many gods sighed with emotion. They knew that this must be a supreme opportunity given to all living beings by the Lord of Chaos City. It was equivalent to a supreme inheritance place, guiding them on the way forward. At this time, within the origin of the six-path universe, Furukawa sat cross-legged in the void. He felt that the power of the 33 treasures was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The more people practiced it, the stronger the power of the 33 origin words. The power of all living beings will be fed back into the origin text. As time goes by, the power of the 33 heavenly treasures will definitely be greatly improved. The remaining things can be solved as long as time is given. It's almost time to start practicing the art of substitute death. Furukawa's eyes showed a glimmer of light. To be honest, he has great enthusiasm for practicing the art of surrogate death. After all, it is related to his own wealth and life. Once the practice is successful, it will not be so simple for the enemy to kill him. This is its equivalent to giving him a lot of extra lives. So, it turns out that the Lord God Space has taken the opportunity to refine dozens or hundreds of elementary universes? Furukawa touched his chin. He sensed that during this period of time, the main God Space developed extremely rapidly. More and more reincarnations entered the main God Space, completing tasks one after another and seizing the power of destiny in one universe after another, eroding their origins. Although it is not that simple to erode the Supreme Universe and the chaotic universe, it will take many years to succeed, but the elementary universe is just the most elementary universe. For a cosmic secret treasure of the level of the Lord God space, eroding an elementary universe, the universe, is really the simplest thing. As long as it wants to be swallowed up, the elementary universe cannot resist it. So today, at least hundreds of elementary universes have been swallowed up by the main God space and become part of the main God space. The life in the elementary universe has also transformed into a member of the 6 realms of sentient beings. In that case, take it. Thinking of this, Furukawa grabbed it with his big hand. In an instant, hundreds of elementary universes turned into chaotic spheres. They arrived in front of Furukawa in an instant and began to rotate, exuding an unfathomable aura. At this moment, these levs in the elementary universe have long been transferred to the 6-path universe by Furukawa. After all, the 6-path universe is vast and boundless, and there is simply more than enough life in these elementary universes. Rumble. The next second, Furukawa started to move, forming seals with both hands. These elementary universes were instantly refined. The origins of these elementary universes were completely changed and condensed into a spell. Every chaotic sphere seemed to be filled with dense chaos runes, filled with an unfathomable aura. With a measured breath, all the original energy surged out. The art of substitution. Furukawa's eyes showed a glimmer of light, and he pointed lightly.
Boom.
Immediately, one of the elementary universes shook violently. The void twisted and actually condensed into a puppet, integrating with Furukawa's soul breath. And this puppet actually looked exactly like Furukawa. The body contains huge source energy. If you don't distinguish carefully, you can't tell the difference between Furukawa and this puppet. This is simply the second clone. Whoosh whoosh. But this is just the beginning. There are hundreds of them under the condensation of Furukawa's magic. The elementary universe quickly turned into palm-sized puppets. All the original energy was condensed together and turned into a scapegoat. This is a supreme doomsday magic that is unfathomable. It contains huge source energy. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 981. It worked. Furukawa smiled slightly and looked at the hundreds of scapegoat puppets floating in the air. He could sense that these scapegoat puppets were inextricably related to him. If the enemy's attack bombarded him, he can transfer these injuries to these scapegoat puppets and let these scapegoat puppets help him withstand fatal attacks, but his body is unscathed. Now that he has condensed hundreds of scapegoat puppets, it can be said that they can help him withstanding hundreds of fatal attacks. He also had hundreds of lives. Suddenly, he felt a lot safer. But it's not enough. More scapegoats need to be refined. Furukawa's eyes flashed. His main enemies are the 9 Masters. If he wants to break through the realm of Masters, sooner or later he will need to have an extremely tragic war with the 9 Masters. If this is the case, hundreds of lives will be lost. Hundreds of scapegoat puppets may not be enough. After all, a single attack by the 9 Masters may kill dozens of his lives, so he must prepare more scapegoat puppets so that he can be considered foolproof. It is still necessary for the Lord God space to speed up the pace of eroding the elementary universe and add more reincarnators. Furukawa touched his chin. Now, he wants to speed up the expansion of the power of the main God space, increase the number of reincarnations, let them quickly erode one elementary universe after another, and help him refine death puppets. If he can refine billions of substitutes if he is a dead puppet, then he is really invincible. After all, it is almost impossible for the enemy to kill his billions of lives. At this moment, the voice of the Lord God space suddenly came over. Master, the Lord God space suddenly encountered an unprecedented enemy. I hope the Master can support me. Enemy? What's the meaning? Furukawa's eyes flashed, and he immediately asked. What happened was that when the Samsaras attacked one of the elementary universes, They didn't expect that this elementary universe was actually the hunting ground of a person named the Lord of the Universe, and they ended up in conflict with each other. The main god space said in a deep voice, "Conflict." Furukawa knows that if he erodes the universe everywhere, sooner or later, he'll conflict with other masters of the universe. After all, although the universe sea is vast and boundless, it is not without other enemies. After all, he wants to devour the universe, and others, the Lord of the Universe and the monsters of the universe, would also have similar thoughts. If everyone wants to devour the same prey, then there will inevitably be a conflict between the two parties. But he did not expect that this would happen like this. Quick. If it was just a conflict, it wouldn't be a big deal. Why are you so nervous?
Furukawa asked.
He was not nervous because of the special characteristics of reincarnations. After all, they are six-path sentient beings. The true spirit has long been integrated into the six-path reincarnation and has the characteristics of immortality. Unless the six-path reincarnation collapses, the soul will not die. Even if they are really killed, their soul will return to the six paths of reincarnation. So he will not worry about the death of the reincarnations at all. This is just returning to the six paths of reincarnation. Master, things are not that simple. The Lord of the Universe I encountered this time is extremely weird. It did not kill the reincarnators, but controlled them. It is still brainwashing the reincarnators, trying to convert them all into its followers. And even want to trace it into the main god space, which is extremely difficult. The main god space said in a deep voice. What? Hearing this, Furukawa's eyes showed a cold light. If this is the case, it would be quite troublesome. The other party not only wants to control the reincarnation, but also wants to track down the main god space. This is something he absolutely does not allow. It's interesting. If that's the case, it's indeed a bit troublesome. Do you know what the title of Lord of the Universe comes from?
Furukawa asked.
Based on the information given by the previous master, I suspect that the so-called Lord of the Universe is a notorious brainwasher. The main god space expressed his judgment. Brainwasher. Furukawa touched his chin, and he immediately found information about the brainwasher from his memory. The other party is also the famous master of the universe in the origin continent. But like this, the brainwasher is notoriously famous. This is due to the terrifying ability of the brainwasher. Its power is extremely weird, and it can easily brainwash any living being, thereby forcibly transforming the other person into a believer or a dead soldier. Even this, the ability can not only act on ordinary life, but even the Lord of the Universe, and even the Lord of the Universe may be brainwashed by the other party. This is very scary, because after reaching the Lord of the Universe, there is also the title of Lord of the Universe. Do you know why even the giants of the ancient universe dare not deal with my brainwasher rashly? It is because I have transformed thousands of universe lords. In the entire origin continent, except for the lords, no one has as many subordinates as me. And they're not just subordinates, they are also dead soldiers. They are all loyal and willing to die for me. The combat power they can exert is not as simple as 1 + 1. It is simply increasing at a geometric rate. He's just a young boy who thinks he has some skills. Can he stand up to my brainwasher? You are a joke. Go to hell immediately. Take action together and kill him. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the brainwasher waved his hand and issued an order. Thousands of lords of the universe moved at the same time, and terrifying spells burst out from them, seemingly forming a supreme tower. Big formation. Click, click, click. In an instant, the entire elementary universe could not withstand such pressure, and it shattered in an instant, just like a planet exploding, falling into pieces. After all, the power of thousands of universe lords is too great. It was terrifying. It was not something that the small elementary universe could withstand. Just the leakage of breath was enough to shatter the elementary universe.
Whoosh.
With a wave of Furukawa's hand, at the moment when the elementary universe was shattered, all the life in the elementary universe was destroyed. Being transported to the Six Paths universe can be regarded as saving their lives. It's ridiculous. He was about to die, but he still saved the lives of these mortals. It was simply the kindness of a woman. The brainwasher sneered, beat him to death, tear his soul and body apart, and plunder all the treasures from him. Boo-hoo! As soon as he finished speaking, the magic power of thousands of universe masters came at the same time, like a torrent of destruction, destroying everything wherever it went, and it was almost unstoppable. Even one the pinnacle title of Lord of the Universe would be beaten to death if he stood in this place. Eternal clock, time slows down. In an instant, Furukawa grabbed it with his big hand, and a huge clock suddenly appeared on his head. It was a huge black and white clock, filled with the power of time. Although the eternal clock has the ability to stop time, but want to be on top, it is too difficult to stop time in front of thousands of lords of the universe, and it is almost impossible. But if you want to slow down time, you can do it easily. And he just wants to avoid the enemy's attack. It takes so much effort, and just the slowness of time can allow him to do this, achieving the effect of moving 1,000 pounds.
Tick-tock.
In an instant, the eternal clock started to move, and the clock above moved. With the body as the center, all time in the chaotic space-time with a radius of hundreds of millions of light-years begins to slow down, and it seems to have entered a space-time where the flow of time is slow.
Wow.
Thousands of lords of the universe were bombarded with terrifying spells, and the moment they entered the time realm, they suddenly slowed down, as if they were in slow motion. In the realm of the eternal clock, only Furukawa can walk normally, or even speed up. This speed increases and decreases.
Whoosh.
Furukawa dodges and easily avoids thousands of terrifying spell attacks. Rumble. Immediately, the power of the magic of thousands of universe masters exploded instantly, as if a supreme universe had been detonated, creating a huge mushroom shape, affecting an area of hundreds of trillions of light years. Produce terrible destructive fluctuations. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 985. What? Seeing this scene, the brainwasher's pupils shrank. It originally thought that this blow was foolproof, and even if it couldn't kill the kid, it could still cause him serious damage. But looking at it now, this kid actually mastered a cosmic secret treasure that can control the flow of time, and easily avoided the joint attack of his men. It can be said that this kid has too many tricks, beyond imagination. There is such a secret treasure of the universe, but it's useless. Under the siege of my Lord of the Universe Legion, no matter how many treasures you have, it will be of no use. Just die to me. Set up a formation, a dragnet. The brainwashers were full of murderous intent. In an instant, thousands of lords of the universe took action at the same time. Using their own bodies as the eyes of the formation, they instantly deployed a large formation of dragnets and spread out across the chaotic void in all directions. This is like the original power of thousands of universes is trembling, and countless dense threads of cause and effect emerge from the depths of the void. The threads of the avenue cover all directions like a big net. Under the bombardment of this dragnet, no matter where the enemy hides, it doesn't help. Just like prey that gets caught in a spider's web, it will be eaten sooner or later. Interesting. Furukawa's eyes showed a hint of coldness. He could feel the pressure from the thousands of lords of the universe coming together. Even the eternal clock could not stop time in this situation. After all, the power of the thousands of lords of the universe is real. It's too terrifying. They produce fluctuations in power that can easily shatter time and space, showing a devastating situation. But he doesn't need to use the power of the eternal clock. He has too many trump cards.
Wow.
In an instant, Furukawa grabbed a whip with his big hand and immediately grabbed a whip from the chaotic void. That was the divine whip. As soon as this divine whip appeared, it was like a vast, dark, ancient snake coming from the void, penetrating the chaotic void and spanning an unknown number of billions of light years. It exudes darkness, decay, corruption, death, erosion, curses, and other auras. It is simply a collection of the darkest forces in the world. It gathers the evil thoughts of countless sentient beings. Originally, the power of the god whip was extremely terrifying, but as the creatures of the 6 universes continued to fight for it, and as the main god space eroded one universe after another, the evil thoughts of the living beings acquired increased at a geometric rate. It can be said that every once in a while, the power of the divine whip will increase a lot, evolving at a speed visible to the naked eye. What is this? The brainwasher's pupils shrank. The moment Furukawa took out the whip, he instantly felt the terror of the whip and the extraordinary power of the whip. It felt that this whip seemed to absorb the energy of countless sentient beings. Evil thoughts, countless evil thoughts of the dead, are all parasitic on this whip. It is the most terrifying whip of corruption, whip of corrosion, and whip of sin. To be honest, it cannot imagine that anyone in the world can actually take it. It is simply impossible to pick up this whip without suffering any damage. But before the brainwasher could see clearly what kind of power this whip had, Furukawa took action and whipped it directly. It was blasting towards the lords of the universe. With just a whip, the entire chaotic void seemed to be torn open at this moment. The chaos was torn into 2 halves, just like Pengu created the world. All the chaotic air currents were separated. At the same time, the infinite sinful power of the divine whip and the evil thoughts of all living beings fell down, and the black and strange dark matter bombarded many lords of the universe. Ah! In an instant, thousands of universe masters let out shrill screams, and their bodies were whipped so hard that it seemed as if their entire bodies were split apart. The entire dragnet formation was at this moment. It was torn apart, and all the webs of avenue and cause and effect were torn into pieces, just like torn spider webs. But what is even more terrifying is that the infinite power of evil thoughts and the power of sin have landed on these lords of the universe, above their souls, causing their souls to decay and constantly corroding their souls. At this moment, they were severely injured all at once. An unpleasant stench filled their bodies, and black oozed from their noses, mouths, eyes, ears, etc. The liquid is like the 5 degenerations of heaven and man. Even if they want to use the power of the universe in their bodies to drive out these sinful powers and evil thoughts, it is not something they can do in a short time. Damn you bastard. The brainwasher is the first to bear the brunt. It feels great pressure. When the infinite power of sin comes, it finds that it seems to be severely injured. Its hairs stand on end, and every cell in its body is trembling. If his body is hit by this divine whip, even if he survives, he will probably be seriously injured. Brainwashing talisman. In an instant, the brainwasher took out a talisman from his body. A pattern of a brain appeared on it, and densely packed origin runes were engraved on it. And this talisman was clearly an important weapon of faith. Vaguely, this important weapon of faith brings together the brainwasher's endless followers, and the endless power of faith blooms with boundless golden light. Apparently, the brainwasher has been wandering in the sea of universes over the years, crossing one universe after another, and transforming one universe after another. Another race that has gathered a huge number of believers. Although the quantity and quality of these believers are not comparable to Furukawa, the power of faith it has accumulated over the years is not comparable to Furukawa. After all, it has lived too long. More than tens of millions of years of reincarnation in the universe. After so many years, one can imagine the power of faith it has accumulated.
Wow.
Suddenly, this brainwashing talisman appeared in the sky above the brainwasher, rising in the wind, and seemed to turn into a huge faith barrier, inside which countless believers were praying, chanting, and contributing their faith.
Boom tilde tilde.
At this moment, the power of the divine whip bombarded the brainwashing talisman. It was like hitting a boundless golden river of faith, and the 2 forces collided fiercely. And this is the collision of negative power and positive power, canceling each other out, just like water and fire, making a sizzling sound at the same time, containing terrible destructive fluctuations. However, the brainwasher still resisted and withstood all the power of the whip. But even so, it felt that the blood and soul in its body were trembling and buzzing, and the bones throughout its body were shaking, producing traces of fragmentation. Obviously, the power of the blow from the divine whip made it more or less injured. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 986. A Weapon of Faith. Furukawa's eyes flashed. He didn't expect that this brainwasher was like himself. He also condensed an important weapon of faith and gathered the power of faith of countless believers. It was precisely because of this important weapon of faith that he could withstand the beating of gods. The attack power of a whip is unparalleled. Moreover, this important weapon of faith has been tempered by countless reincarnations of the universe and has been raised to a state unprecedented in ancient times. The infinite power of faith gathered together has almost reached the point of invulnerability. It can be said that with this important weapon of faith in hand, unless the power of faith of countless believers of the brainwasher is exhausted, there is no way to destroy the defense of this brainwashing talisman. Damn it! But the brainwasher didn't have any sense of rejoicing. Instead, its face was extremely gloomy. You actually gathered the power of infinite evil thoughts together to condense a secret treasure of the universe. Are you crazy? Once the power of these evil thoughts is completely out of control, you will definitely suffer backlash. How dare you do such a dangerous thing? In fact, it is the title of the God who believes in it, the Lord, who has brainwashed countless believers and gathered endless power of faith, naturally knows that faith is poisonous. However, it has also found a way to eliminate all the distracting thoughts and negative forces of those sentient beings, and only absorbs the pure energy of faith. As for the energy condensed by the power of evil thoughts, it has all been discarded and thrown away in the garbage dump of the universe. To be honest, it has never thought about refining the power of these sentient beings' evil thoughts into magic weapons from beginning to end, because the power of these evil thoughts is really too terrifying. If you don't handle it well, you will be eroded by the power of these evil thoughts and sins, and you will never recover. Even if it is the Lord of the universe, it cannot withstand such a terrifying power of sin. The whole person will be completely corrupted, and become a monster that has lost its mind. In fact, there are many monsters in the cosmic sea that have been eroded by the power of sin and evil thoughts and have lost their minds. These are lessons learned from the past. But now there is actually a madman who has condensed the power of these evil thoughts and sins together, and even refined it into a cosmic secret treasure with infinite power. If you hadn't witnessed this kind of thing with your own eyes, you really wouldn't believe that anyone could do it. Out of control? Hearing this, Furukawa suddenly laughed. Your knowledge is really too short, and you don't know what the principle of reincarnation is. All things are interdependent, and harmful and beneficial are not absolute. It is not unreasonable for the brainwasher to be shocked by this kind of thing. But he has mastered the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation, and is the master of the 6 paths of reincarnation. He has mastered the power of life and death, and can reverse the power of the living and the dead. It can be said that he can completely control the whip. Even if the power of the whip is completely out of control, it will not endanger yourself. Interesting, really interesting. I am becoming more and more interested in you. I will completely transform you and take everything you have as my own and use it for me. The brainwasher's eyes showed a cold light. It is extremely interested in the power possessed by Furukawa. If it can master it, it will be able to sweep away invincible opponents at the same level. Even if it is the master, it dares to fight. It can be said that if you can transform this kid in front of you, it will definitely be an unprecedented adventure. Maybe this will be the best opportunity for you to break through and be promoted to the master. The great transformation technique brings salvation to all living beings. In an instant, the brainwasher shouted loudly, and he suddenly took out a secret treasure of the universe from his body. This is the scepter of universal salvation, which contains infinite power to save all living beings.
Wow.
With its body as the center, infinite light of faith immediately bloomed, covering the chaotic void of billions of light years in radius. It seemed that wherever this golden light of faith went, It completely transformed all living beings and forcibly brainwashed them. Even the airflow in this chaotic void seemed to be transformed by the endless light of faith at this moment, showing a golden color, as if it were made of gold. In the chaotic void in all directions, universes appeared one after another, a total of 129,600 elementary universes, inhabited by infinite lives. And these beings are all believers of the brainwashers. They are all extremely devout, sitting cross-legged on the ground and reciting the supreme scriptures praising the brainwashes. Not only these ordinary believers, but also thousands of lords of the universe were sitting cross-legged on the ground, chanting scriptures and humming rumble. In an instant, hymns of life, epic chapters, and gorgeous poems rushed towards my face, seeming to form a scripture of transition, buzzing. When ordinary beings hear such a sound of salvation, they will instantly crawl to the ground, unable to move. Surrender to me, surrender to me, surrender to me. The voice of the brainwasher came over, like a demonic sound penetrating the ears, permeating the chaotic void in all directions, covering the depths of Furukawa's sea of consciousness. It was simply unavoidable and impossible to hide. Furukawa's eyes revealed a hint of coldness. He sensed that the power of Brainwasher's technique was extremely terrifying, dozens of times more powerful than before. Especially when countless followers of Brainwasher gathered together, as well as thousands of universe masters. The power of faith, all added up, was like a torrent of faith crushing him. Almost instantly, he found a buzzing sound coming from his ears, and those twisted origin runes and brainwashing runes were all it surged forward and was instilled in his sea of consciousness. The power of these faith runes, origin runes, brainwashing runes, and other runes condensed into supreme scriptures, seeming to want to invade his brain and modify his memory, plant the seeds of faith, and force him to recognize his master. The most terrifying thing is that the power of transformation of the two origin words in the brainwasher increases the transformation power of the brainwasher 1,000 times, making its transformation power he could easily break through the soul's defense. This was simply irresistible. If he continued like this, he might be forcibly transformed by the brainwasher and become his puppet. At this moment, he felt that his consciousness was a little blurred, seemed to have many hallucinations, and at the same time developed a good impression of the brainwasher, as if he was extremely familiar. It is such a powerful transformation technique. It is simply unheard of to actually improve the transformation technique to this level. Furukawa clenched his fists, and he was amazed in his heart. This brainwasher is indeed a giant of the universe that has existed in Hungu, a notorious, wanted criminal. This strength alone is incredible and extraordinary. If it is an ordinary title of universe, if the master of the brainwasher met this brainwasher, he would probably be completely doomed. Unfortunately, this brainwasher met Furukawa. Basically, the more powerful the brainwasher's technique, the greater the benefit to Furukawa. We are ready to deal with this brainwasher. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 987. Go ahead, steal the sky gourd. Furukawa smiled slightly, and with a thought, he transmitted his voice to the sky-stealing gourd. Whoosh! At this moment, the sky-stealing gourd, which had been hiding in the depths of the void, jumped up and down. It seemed to be very excited. It liked it the most. What he did was to steal the enemy's strongest power. And he defeated the enemy when he was at his most arrogant. In an instant, the sky-stealing gourd started to move, and it immediately displayed its supreme magical power and moved towards it. Brainwashers shroud the past. Your things are my things, and my things are still my things. Everything in the world cannot be stolen. Your skills are very good, and I will carry them forward for you. Suddenly, the power of stealing the sky filled the sky-stealing gourd. It penetrated the chaotic time and space silently, and temporarily stole the power of the brainwasher's great pursuit technique in an instant.
What?
In an instant, the brainwasher suddenly confused, completely confused. It found that the power of transformation that it was so proud of and transformed all living things completely disappeared at this moment. It was like the greatest ability and the greatest power of magic in his body were at this moment. It seemed as if he was no longer able to use the data transformation technique and could not brainwash other creatures at this time. It can be said that this feeling simply made the brainwasher completely crazy. After all, the data transformation technique is its greatest support and the most important thing in its body. Strong ability. With this ability, I have transformed countless strong people. I have taken many strong people as my slaves, and I am invincible. But now this ability has suddenly disappeared, as if my ability has been stolen. It's like leaving. This feeling is like a rich second generation. Suddenly, the family goes bankrupt and becomes a pauper. No one can accept such a huge change. Damn it, bitch, you bitch. The brainwasher roared, furious. Where did my data transformation technique go? What the hell did you do to me, and why did my magical abilities suddenly disappear? It dares to use its own head as a guarantee. The reason why such a strange thing happened must be related to the kid in front of it. Only this kid has many weird abilities. Obviously, its dotted transformation technique is invincible, and it can the Lord of the Universe at the same level as the transformation is invincible, but such a powerful ability can be easily stolen. Such an ability is so shameless and simply goes against common sense. A terrifying wave of power erupted from it, sweeping across the chaotic time and space in all directions produced bursts of destructive fluctuations, seemingly creating countless void explosions. Even if it lost the ability of the data transformation technique, it is still the Lord of the Universe, relying solely on its own power ability to defeat many enemies. Chance. In an instant, Furukawa's eyes flashed, and he sensed that the brainwasher was in a state of rage. This was a rare flaw for the brainwasher. Only when such an unreasonable thing happens can the brainwasher's mind be aroused. The flaw in the thread gave me an excellent opportunity to attack. The supreme magic, the hand of collecting wandering treasures. Whoosh! In an instant, a big hand of nothingness stretched out, silently penetrating into the chaotic void without leaking out. Any breath was directly stretched out on the brainwasher.
Wow.
Found it. Immediately Furukawa touched it. His face suddenly became happy, and he immediately found the 2 origin words on the brainwasher. However, these 2 origin words had been refined by the brainwasher, and the soul of the brainwasher was integrated into the origin words, just like the original magic weapon in one's body. Of course, the origin text is a divine object, so naturally it cannot be completely refined and taken as one's own like an ordinary magic weapon. Even if it is refined, it is only a shallow level of refining, not too in-depth. Can be stolen. Furukawa touched his chin. He felt that although the 2 origin words were refined by the brainwasher, the connection between them was not as deep as imagined. It was like the brainwasher used the soul lock to separate the 2 origin words. It's just tied up. If the soul chain is torn, the 2 origin words can be taken out. The hand of the wandering treasure collection happens to have the ability to break magic. It can break all magic with one skill, no matter how powerful the power of magic is. Will also be destroyed by this big hand of void. Click, 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 click. In an instant, Furukawa did not hesitate and gently tugged on the hand that was running the wandering treasure collection and immediately produced a terrifying void power, shattering the surrounding spells.
Boom tilde tilde.
The next second, the soul chains around the 2 origin words broke, as if they were torn apart by a huge force. Even if the brainwasher wanted to react at this moment, it was impossible. Whoosh! In an instant, the hand that collected wandering treasures retracted in an instant and left silently from the depths of the void. Immediately afterwards, Furukawa grabbed the 2 origin characters from the brainwasher and took them to himself. The process only took 1 second, and the 2 origin characters fell into his hands. Haha, it worked. These 2 origin texts are mine. Suddenly Furukawa was overjoyed. He could feel the power of these 2 origin words, which contained the supreme power of transformation. Anyone who mastered these two origin words could transform all living beings and transform all living beings. Countless lives have transformed into his own believers and puppets. With the power of these two origin words, the power of transformation in him will increase by hundreds or thousands. Now the brainwasher is finished. Furukawa smiled slightly. To be honest, the biggest source of power of the brainwasher is the two origin characters on the body. If these two origin characters are lost, it is equivalent to destroying most of its combat power. Now these two origin characters being snatched away by him is simply equivalent to stabbing the vital part of its body, just like hitting a snake and directly hitting the opponent's 7 inches. And the reason why this can be done is because the wandering treasure collecting hand can not only it is just a treasure collected in the void, and it is also a stealing hand that can steal treasures from the enemy silently.
What?
The moment Furukawa stole the two origin texts, the brainwash's expression suddenly changed. With a face ashen as death and a turbulent wave welling up in his heart. Damn thing. The brainwasher roared. Where are the two origin words on my body? Where did the two origin words go? How on earth did you steal that from me? It was trembling all over. At this moment, it felt that its power was weakening sharply. Without the power of the origin text, its combat effectiveness was greatly reduced. And before this, the great Purdue technique that it was good at was also stolen by Furukawa. It can be said that most of its strength was destroyed in an instant. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 988.
Kill.
But Furukawa has no intention of returning to the brainwasher. Since the brainwasher is now weak, he will take advantage of its illness and kill it quickly. After all, such an ancient giant has lived for countless reincarnations of the universe. Who knows if it has any special trump cards? Once it breaks out, it might be in big trouble. So it's better to deal with the brainwasher as soon as possible.
Boom tilde tilde.
In an instant, Furukawa took action, holding the magic whip in his hand, blasting towards the brainwasher with a whip. At this moment, the dotted transformation technique on the brainwasher was stolen, the two origin texts were stolen, and the power was weakened to an unprecedented level, which made the war on it the power is greatly weakened. It can be said that despite the rise and fall of each other, the brainwasher is still the opponent. In an instant, a terrifying whip shadow from the depths of the void attacked, containing infinite power of cause and effect, and the power of endless evil thoughts of all living beings. It can tear everything apart.
Boom.
This whip hit the brainwasher firmly, instantly splitting the important weapon of faith it sacrificed, the talisman of brainwashing into two halves and torn into pieces. At the same time, this whip also bombarded the brainwasher. On its body, the endless power of evil thoughts and sins of all living beings is like a tide, drowning the brainwasher. Ah! In an instant, the brainwasher let out a shrill scream. It felt that its body and soul were torn apart at this moment, and the whole thing was shattered. If it was just like this, it was nothing. According to the tenacious vitality of the tidal lord of the universe, even if the body and soul are torn apart, they can recover quickly. But the most terrifying thing is the power of sin and the power of evil thoughts of all living beings. They have the characteristics of terrible erosion, corrosion, devouring, corruption, etc. When these powers invade the body of the brainwasher at that time, its soul and body were almost completely corroded and melted into dark matter.
Boom tilde tilde.
The next second, the brainwasher was already dead. With just a whip bombardment, Furukawa beat him to death. The body and soul were ripped to pieces. If the lords of the universe in the origin continent saw this scene, they would definitely be extremely shocked. After all, this is the lord of the universe who has been rampant in the origin continent for countless years, an extremely ancient existence. Even if faced with being surrounded and killed by many called lords of the universe, it still survived and was very much alive. But now, it was beaten to death by Furukawa with a whip, and it will never be resurrected. If this matter spreads, it will definitely be shocked. The entire continent of origin has become an epic legend. At this moment, Furukawa narrowed his eyes. At the moment when the Brainwasher died, the thousands of universe masters who were transformed by the Brainwasher, as well as the 129,600 believers of the elementary universe, all of a sudden they felt confused and at a loss. Because the Lord they believed in died, all of a sudden. They knew that the Lord they believed in was omnipotent and immortal. How could he die so easily? At this moment, they felt waves of belief collapsed, and I simply couldn't believe the scene before me. However, the transformation power of the Brainwashers was too powerful, and it was simply deeply ingrained. After countless cosmic reincarnations and years of transformation, these believers had long since become. Even if the Brainwashers are temporarily dead, their faith cannot be shaken. But as time goes by, I am afraid that these believers and the Lord of the universe will regain their consciousness and reason. These believers are precious. Furukawa touched his chin. Although he could kill the believers of these Brainwashers, it would be too wasteful. Not to mention how huge the 129,600 believers of the elementary universe are. How much power of faith can it provide? Just having thousands of believers of the Lord of the universe can increase his strength countless times. If there are so many powerful subordinates who return to the continent of origin and suppress the original kingdom of God, then it is impossible for him to shake the power of the original kingdom of God. So, he wants to completely accept the believers of these Brainwashers. In fact, the battle of faith among the gods is also the same. The gods fight each other, but the believers do not kill them all, but instead the other party integrates into its own system. This is actually a war to plunder believers, enhance the power of one's beliefs, and increase one's followers. However, it is not so easy to reverse the beliefs of these believers. After all, after years of brainwashing, these believers have the beliefs of the Brainwashers have long been ingrained, and it is almost impossible for them to change their beliefs. If it were the master of the universe, I am afraid that it would have given up long ago, but Furukawa is different. For Furukawa, there is no need to change the beliefs of these believers, just reverse their thinking and deceive them. At this moment, sensing the death of the Brainwasher, many believers began to panic. In the billions of years of universe reincarnation, they had never experienced such a thing. It is simply impossible that the Supreme God, who has existed for eternity and is immortal, has fallen at this time and been killed by other lords of the universe. No believer can accept this fact. How to return water? Lord has fallen? I can no longer sense the Lord's gaze on us, nor can I sense any of the Lord's power. Has the Lord really fallen?
Impossible.
The Lord is a supreme and extremely great being. How can it be said that he has fallen when he has fallen? This must be an illusion, and it must be the illusion of the enemy to deceive us. But we witnessed this with our own eyes. We saw the Lord being torn into pieces by the enemy. Could it be that the Lord is not an omnipotent being and an immortal being? Shut up, you heretic. You dare to speculate on the omnipotence of the Lord. This is a serious crime on your part. Do you know this is a serious crime? Hang him immediately and suffer the punishment of being burned at the stake. You are right. It is impossible for the Lord to die. He is a great existence, omnipotent, omnipresent, eternal, and the creator of all things. How could it possibly fall? Are you kidding me? The problem is that our prayers are not answered, and we cannot hear the voice of the Lord. What should we do? Many believers of the Brainwasher are panicked, with extremely flustered and confused faces, because they have never experienced such a thing in their lives. It is simply unprecedented. To be honest, it has never happened in their thinking. I have thought about the death of Brainwashers because in their understanding, the Lord is immortal and eternal. In fact, the same has been true for tens of millions of reincarnations in the universe in the past. It has never changed, which makes it even more important. Let their beliefs be ingrained. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverse@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 989. At this moment, a voice suddenly came over, penetrating into the depths of the consciousness of countless believers. My believers, there is no need to worry. I am not dead. Just now I split into good and evil, and now I am good. I have killed the evil one, successfully integrated all the powers, and become the true Eternal One. This is Furukawa's voice. He performed the Great Pursuit technique and at the same time used the power of transformation from the origin text.
Wow.
In an instant, the power of the two origin words greatly enhanced Furukawa's transformation power and instantly penetrated all the believers of the Brainwasher, including thousands of lords of the universe. This power easily blinded the perception of all believers and at the same time modified their memories, making them think that the people they were fighting were not brainwashers and enemies. Instead, the Brainwasher and the Brainwasher's true nature are fighting, a battle between good and evil, which can make these believers mistakenly think that they are the real Brainwashers. The one I killed before was just the evil clone. Through such memory modification, there is no doubt that these believers can be more convinced. After all, this is not a betrayal of the previous master, but a logical inheritance of the original faith. This makes it more logical. In fact, this is the most brilliant deception, with 70% false and 30% true, which will make others more convinced. Rumble as soon as these words came out, all the believers, including the thousands of lords of the universe, felt their souls shake violently, and many more specious memories appeared deep in their souls. It turns out that what we were fighting just now is not the enemy, but the battle between the good and evil clones of the Lord. We misunderstood. Haha, let me just say, the Lord is supreme, invincible, and eternal. How could he be beaten to death by the enemy? This kind of ridiculous thing is impossible. Now, everything can be explained clearly. Indeed, fortunately the Lord appeared in time to explain. Otherwise we, being stupid, would have almost misunderstood. There is no doubt that only the Lord can defeat him. The so-called enemy turns out to be the Lord of Evil, not the Lord of Good. This is a battle between oneself and oneself. No wonder the battle just now was so intense. It turned out to be a battle between the Lord and the Lord. Now one of them has won and merged into the real Lord, the truly eternal and only true God. Many believers were talking about it. They suddenly realized that they believed Furukawa's words at once. In addition to the fact that Furukawa's words contain the great power of salvation and the power of origin words, which can greatly increase the credibility, the most important thing is because they have no doubt about the power of the Brainwasher. It can be said that the brainwashing power of the Brainwasher is so powerful that these believers believe that the Brainwasher is the strongest God in the world and the omnipotent God of creation. So these believers simply do not believe that there are other gods in the world who can defeat Brainwashers. This is the so-called success and defeat. Such deep-rooted beliefs were also completely exploited by Furukawa, making these believers think that the people who died just now were just evil thoughts. The cloned Brainwasher defeated the kind-hearted Brainwasher. In just a moment, he reversed the beliefs of these believers and quietly stole the power of the Brainwasher's belief. If the Brainwasher is still alive now, it must be angry to death. It has worked hard to accumulate countless followers, and it has spent an unknown amount of time and energy, but now it is all about making wedding dresses for other people, and it is all at Furukawa's advantage. Yes, you're all right. Now I have become the only true God in eternity and the most flawless and powerful existence. Therefore, my God's name has also been changed. It is called the original ancient snake. Recite my true name. Well, you can witness eternal life in reincarnation. Furukawa's voice came out, and it spread to all the believers in an instant. Actually changed the name of God? Why change the name of God? A believer felt very puzzled. This is also a matter of course. Since the Lord has become the only existence in eternity, has become the strongest God, and has gained more powerful divine power, it is normal to change the name of the God. You are right. Changing your name is also the Lord's right. As believers, we can only follow without hesitation. It's just a change of God's name. What does it matter? The name is just a code name. The Lord is always the Lord. No matter how the Lord's appearance and appearance change, it remains the same. Indeed, the Lord is ever-changing. The Lord is all living beings. The Lord is all things. The Lord is everything. The Lord is you, me, and him. All we need to do is believe in the Lord, recite the Lord's true name, and offer our faith. Our great Lord, the original ancient serpent, please receive our faithful devotion. Praise the original ancient snake. You are the supreme God, the only true God in eternity. Countless believers were prostrate on the ground, including thousands of lords of the universe. They all believed Furukawa's words and immediately knelt on the ground, chanting the true name of the original ancient snake. Rumble. In an instant during this time, Furukawa sensed the overwhelming power of faith instilled from these believers. You must know that these are 129,600 elementary universes, and the power of faith of endless creatures must be added to the power of thousands of universes. The power of faith gathered by the Lord. It is completely conceivable how huge this power of faith is. It simply covers the chaotic void with a radius of hundreds of trillions of light years, dyeing this chaotic void golden yellow. The surrounding void seemed to form an endless golden land, as if it were made of gold, with dense runes of faith floating on it, unfathomable and as vast as the sea. They are all fanatic believers, even saints. Suddenly, Furukawa was amazed. He had no idea that all the believers he had accepted as brainwashers were fanatic believers, even believers without any distracting thoughts. The power of faith coming from these believers had no impurities or any negative side. With the power of emotions, they completely dedicated everything they had. In fact, this is the terrifying brainwashing power of the brainwasher. Under its years of brainwashing, countless believers have rapidly evolved from shallow believers to fanatic believers. Even a saint-like existence. Even the Lord of the universe is like this. You must know that even if Furukawa occupies the Six Paths universe and gains infinite faith, the true fanatics and saints are actually only 1 in a million, and most of them are he is a shallow believer. So half of the power of faith he gained is poisonous, but he used the original ancient snake talisman to filter all the toxins so that he was not harmed. But the brainwasher is different. Every one of its believers is the power of faith obtained by fanatic believers and saints is extremely pure, without any impurities. This also means that it does not need to filter out any negative power at all, and can directly swallow this faith energy to strengthen itself. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 990. Now I really got rich. Furukawa was overjoyed. Although he knew that all the believers who accepted the brainwasher would definitely gain a lot of benefits, the benefits gained now were a bit beyond his current imagination. After all, he gained 129,600 elementary students in one fell swoop. The number of fanatical believers in the universe is an immeasurable wealth for any god. Only the brainwasher, the master of the universe, who has been diligently collecting believers from all over the world through countless years of reincarnations in the universe, can do this. To get this kind of thing, it can be said that he has a great chance of winning this time. It is not impossible to win. Interesting, if you can really transform, it will be considered a complete transformation. Furukawa touched his chin. If he can conquer these 3 peaks and become the Lord of the universe, his power will definitely be raised to a level never seen before in eternity. By then, he doesn't know what level of strength he will reach. And he is already trapped in this. The 3 major titles of the Lord of the universe have been for a long time. At this moment, the time for the end of the Six Paths God War is getting closer and closer. He must solve the 3 major titles of the Lord of the universe, such as the Nar, the Destroyer of all things, and the Brain Eater as soon as possible.
Threats.
Otherwise, when a master like Eternal River comes to kill, he will definitely die due to internal and external troubles. So before that, he must solve his internal threats to prevent the other party from coming out to cause trouble at the critical moment. Give it a try. If you can't transform, kill them and get rid of them once and for all. Furukawa has made up his mind. He will try to transform these three masters of the universe. If he cannot transform, then he can only kill them all and completely eradicate these threats. No matter what, he will not allow the Six Paths universe. There are other threatening forces remaining among them. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 993. At this moment, in the Six Paths universe, in the parallel world, the art of parallel world actually evolved? Furukawa's pupils shrank. He felt that the parallel world technique he had been maintaining had unknowingly undergone unimaginable changes. It can be said that this technique was completely different from before, and the power level had increased by hundreds, 1,000 times. This is a supreme illusion in itself. It is divided into countless parallel worlds in an instant. It is a supreme defense technique that can trap enemies more powerful than yourself. But because this technique is simply an illusion, the ultimate, enough to reach the supreme state of confusing reality with fiction and making reality appear virtual. Because it is too realistic, such illusions are no longer much different from real ones. But even if there is not much difference, there is still a difference. The world of such illusions is still lacking original energy. But it is different now. Since the Six Paths universe has swallowed up a large amount of original energy, it is evolving all the time. This has also given the parallel world technique great benefits and produced qualitative changes. This technique has also swallowed up the source energy. The huge source energy enables each parallel world to obtain sufficient source energy, causing the originally illusory parallel world to gradually turn into a real world. In other words, the lives in these parallel worlds are no longer false. The characters are no longer illusory creatures, but have gradually become real flesh and blood lives. Even the materials in each world have completely become real, almost the same as real materials. Of course, for those who are themselves parallel worlds, for the lives in the art, it is actually not much different from before because they themselves think that they are real lives, not false creatures. But for people outside, it is completely different. It is like changing from a two-dimensional creatures evolve into three-dimensional creatures, resulting in qualitative changes. It actually evolved into the real world. Furukawa's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He sensed that within this parallel world art, countless parallel worlds were born. Although the original energy contained in each parallel world still seemed very weak, it was no different from the real world.
Fabi.
But it is obvious that it already has the same original energy as the real world. Even if billions of parallel worlds are superimposed, the original energy contained is so huge that it is unimaginable. Moreover, they have become one of their own, swallowing them like instincts. The chaotic source energy in all directions seems to have evolved independently and can carry out instinctive practice. To be honest, he had already expected similar changes because the power of this spell is extremely powerful and it can confuse the real with the fake. Illusion. If it is only performed for a period of time, such an illusion will naturally dissipate and all illusions will slowly disappear over time. But he has been maintaining the spell, but it has made this spell slow. Slowness has produced its own spiritual wisdom and its own instincts, thereby slowly swallowing up the huge source energy within the Six Paths universe and promoting its own evolution. As a result, over time, these parallel worlds have evolved into real parallel worlds. No longer it is a false world. Even each parallel world gave birth to its own way of heaven and its own weak will, which is the spirit of the parallel world, containing powerful instinctive power. Because the illusion power of this magic method is too realistic, has it given birth to spiritual wisdom? Furukawa was immediately amazed. He didn't expect that the technique was so wonderful. When it became powerful to a certain extent, it would naturally give birth to its own spiritual intelligence. It can be said that this parallel world technique is already a living life. With its own wisdom, it is like a universe has its own will. In fact, It is also because of this that when Furukawa is not paying attention, this parallel world technique slowly devours the original energy of the universe and continuously strengthens his body.
Power.
When he noticed it now, this parallel world technique had evolved successfully and completely condensed into an entity.
Wow.
He felt that each parallel world gave birth to its own laws of heaven and earth, and gave birth to its own laws of heaven and earth. Your own spiritual intelligence is like the Lord of the world being born. Of course, because these parallel worlds develop differently, the size of the spiritual intelligence that is born is also different. Just like human beings, cultivators naturally have strong and weak differences. Likewise, the truth. These parallel world spirits are also different in strength and weakness. The more powerful the parallel world spirit is, the more powerful the life in this world will be. In fact, the two complement each other and are indispensable. Wait, if the art of parallel worlds has evolved into the real world, wouldn't the Gnars, the Annihilators, and the Brain Eaters be able to obtain sufficient source energy? Furukawa narrowed his eyes. To be honest, the art of parallel world is not only as simple as suppressing these three peak tidal masters of the universe, but also because of a supreme illusion that slows down the speed at which they devour the original energy, making the injuries on their bodies cannot be recovered quickly, thus maximizing the time for him to practice. However, due to the evolution of the art of parallel worlds, each parallel world has turned into a real world, and each world contains huge source energy. As a result, if the masters of the universe with the three pinnacle titles of the Gnar, the destroyer of all creatures, and the brain eater kill like crazy, it will definitely speed up the time it takes for him to recover from his injuries, and speed up the speed at which he improves his cultivation. But it's not a big deal. We just packed it up together. Soon Furukawa calmed down and remained unmoved. To be honest, when he was only in the realm of the advanced Lord of the Universe, he could suppress these three peak masters of the universe. They were still in their heyday. At that time, he was still not afraid, let alone now. He is now the Lord of the Universe and has the power of 75 million universe reincarnations. He is already close to the peak of the title of Lord of the Universe. Although in terms of cultivation alone, and there is still a certain distance between being called the Lord of the Universe with a power of 100 million universe reincarnations, such as the Gnar, the destroyer of all things, and the Brain Eater, but it is not far away. In addition, the power of magic he has mastered, the power of the secret treasure of the universe, etc., he can completely defeat these three titles of Lord of the Universe, even if they return to their peak cultivation level. It's interesting to see what these three titled Lords of the Universe are doing. Let's transform them all later. Furukawa narrowed his eyes, and his consciousness was instantly immersed in this parallel world technique. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 994. Parallel World No. XX, a certain planet. At this moment, the entire planet is plunged into a doomsday disaster. Black and terrifying bugs appear in the mountains, oceans, deserts, forests, cities, and other places on the planet. There are more than hundreds of millions of them, like locusts, swarming in, and everything they see will be eaten up by these black bugs, leaving nothing behind. If someone saw this scene from outside the planet, they would definitely feel extremely frightened and have their hairs standing on end, because the entire planet was covered in dense black bugs that were eating crazily. It seems that it won't be long before these planets will be eaten clean. Damn it, damn bug, die to me. Come on, brothers, fight these damn bugs and fight your way out. Use the laser cannon to blast these bugs, kill them all. There are also rebels on this planet. They are all hiding in the fortress, manipulating laser cannons, and bombarding the black bugs that are attacking. Whoosh! In an instant, billions of lasers are blasting away. Coming, there was a burning smell in the air. It was extremely fast and extremely penetrating. Even a big mountain could be penetrated easily. All these lasers bombarded these black bugs. Dong dong dong. Next, in 1 second, hundreds of running black bugs were blasted away, hit the ground hard. rolled several times, and left shocking marks. But the shells of these black bugs, it is so hard that even the power of the laser cannon can only slightly scratch the black shell, but cannot harm the root at all. Maybe some lasers are lucky enough to hit the vital points of the black bugs, which can cause fatal damage, but such luck can only be counted on one's fingers. So after one shot, only a few black bugs were killed, and most of the black bugs were unscathed. They paused for a moment, then immediately got up from the ground. He didn't seem to have any emotions, and he still rushed towards the war fortress, without pausing for even a moment. Damn, these black bugs are really monsters. They can't even be killed by laser cannons. A captain's eyes showed an unbelievable look, extremely horrified. Such a laser cannon is already their most powerful weapon. It can easily penetrate war fortresses and even penetrate the outer shell of the spacecraft. But even the outer shell of the black bug could not be penetrated, which was simply unbelievable to them. Stop dreaming. These are gnawing bugs, doomsday bugs that have destroyed one parallel universe after another, and what we have encountered are only low-level gnawing bugs. If they are high-level gnawing bugs, they will be considered as planet annihilators. Cannons can't penetrate their shells. A captain said bitterly. He knew what terrifying monsters these black bugs were. They were gnawing bugs that had destroyed countless parallel universes. They gnawed at all life and matter wherever they went. It is said that wherever they pass by, the entire parallel universe will be eaten clean, leaving nothing behind. There are too many universes that have perished because of the eating insects, and they are just one of them. What about the reinforcements? Where have they gone? Why hasn't there been any news from the Third Interstellar Legion yet? The captain yelled, furious. Captain, I just received news that the Third Interstellar Legion encountered an army of advanced eating insects and was completely wiped out. Our galaxy is completely finished. Many soldiers have pale faces. If someone could see the situation in the entire galaxy, their hair would stand on end, they would be terrified and fall into endless despair because there are billions of planets in the entire galaxy. Regardless of whether these planets there is no life, but billions of gnawing insects have appeared. They are all eating these planets crazily, destroying everything they see. The original Third Interstellar Legion is the most powerful military force in this galaxy. With billions of space battleships, star destroyer cannons, destructive lights, nuclear bombs, and other weapons. But they encountered the advanced gnawing insect army, and when they met, the entire army was wiped out. As for those space battleships, the wreckage was also eaten clean by the gnawing insects. Not even a bit of garbage was left behind, and everything became food in their bellies. What to do? The Third Star Legion has been destroyed. We have no reinforcements. We are completely screwed. A soldier had a look of despair on his face. Let's run away. If we escape from here, we may still have a chance of survival. We can't defeat such a monster. A soldier was so frightened that he had lost all courage. Escape? Where to escape? The captain sneered. If I could escape, wouldn't I run away? The entire planet is surrounded by gnawing insects. It is simply swamped. Even if we can escape from this war fortress, can we escape from this planet? I'm afraid that even if we do have a spaceship, we will be eaten just after escaping. Some people may think that we can hide somewhere on this planet, but don't dream. According to the character of gnawing insects, this planet will become their food, and it will be useless for us to hide to the end of the world. And even if we want to surrender, there is nothing we can do. Those gnawing insects are basically monsters and have no interest in talking to us. If we surrender, we will only become their food and be eaten by them. This. Many soldiers are desperate. They know that what the captain said is true. The gnawing insect is such a monster. It is ruthless, cold-blooded, destroys everything, and has an overwhelming advantage. There is only one end for them when they encounter the gnawing insect. That it's death. There's no other possibility. So, what do we do now? Many soldiers looked at the captain. Even if you do it horizontally, you will die, and if you do it vertically, you will die. It is better to fight with these gnawing insects. If you can kill one, you will get one. If you kill one, you will be enough. If you kill two, you will make a profit. The captain showed a look of death. Okay, let's fight that insect and die together. Many soldiers roared angrily and were forced into a desperate situation. They were not afraid of death at all. In an instant, they were all tied with terrible plasma bombs, and each of them was like a dead soldier, without hesitation.
Boom tilde tilde tilde.
The next second, hundreds of black-eating insects spread like a tide, and these soldiers immediately detonated their own plasma bombs, causing a huge explosion that spread hundreds of kilometers around. In an instant, hundreds of gnawing insects were blown to death alive and torn apart. Shockingly, deep pits appeared on the ground, and soil splashed out. But there are still hundreds of gnawing insects that are not dead. They stood up from the pit, staggered, and continued to move towards the next target. They did not have any emotions, and their minds were just full of gnawing desires. Regardless of death or serious injury, they don't feel anything, they are just ruthless killing machines. And such a scene happens anywhere on this planet. If anyone sees this scene, they will see endless fear and despair, and there is no hope of victory at all. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 995. And at this time, in this parallel world, a huge black monster stood in the void, filled with endless gnawing power, and an incredible gnawing field spread out from it. Whoosh whoosh. Countless black gnawing insects were like a tide, surging in from all directions and engulfing the black monster's body one after another. These gnawing insects carried original energy and were integrated into the body of the black monster, greatly increasing the power of the black monster. At this moment, the black monster suddenly opened its eyes, revealing a shocking light that seemed to penetrate time and space. It seems that the original energy of this parallel world is almost being devoured. It is time to go to the next parallel world. You must increase your strength as soon as possible. And this black monster is one of the descendants of the Nars. It senses that the entire parallel universe and countless planets have been eaten clean by the Nashus it sent out. In a short time, all the planets in the universe will be eaten clean, and then this parallel universe will completely collapse, and all the original energy will be eaten up by it to strengthen its own cultivation. To be honest, it has long been familiar with doing such things. So far it has destroyed at least 186,797,353 parallel worlds. This has also greatly improved its cultivation.
Wow.
At this moment, 8 black holes suddenly appeared nearby, creating huge ripples in the chaotic void. The surroundings were filled with a terrifying aura, overwhelming for billions of light years. Immediately afterwards, 8 black monsters walked out of the black hole. The aura and power on their bodies were almost exactly the same as the previous black monsters. And these 8 black monsters are undoubtedly the 8 descendants of the Nar. Plus the previous one, they are the 9 descendants of the Nar. Now they are all gathered together, standing in 9 different positions, with a terrifying aura permeating their bodies. It seems that the entire parallel universe is trembling at this moment. Boss, why are you moving so slowly? You haven't completely destroyed this parallel universe yet. It seems that your strength has declined a lot. A black monster's eyes flickered, revealing a dangerous light. The resistance to life in this parallel universe is much stronger than before. It is a technological parallel universe, and the resistance is also very fierce. It took a little time to eat this universe. But if you think my strength has declined, I can compete with you, Lao Wu. The boss of the black monster said calmly, tit for tat. Although they are all brothers, as descendants of Nars, their affection for each other is very weak. Even in order to strengthen their own strength, they would not mind devouring them if given the chance. The body and soul of the other party were destroyed. But their strength is almost the same now, so no one is sure to take action, and the stalemate becomes impossible. Okay, why bother fighting here? Don't forget who our most powerful enemy is. If you get injured while fighting here, I'm afraid you will be killed. the second black monster said in a deep voice, trying to dissuade the two brothers. Forget it. Since the second child has spoken, then I will give him a face.
Yeah, hatapiti.
I really want to fight you, the boss, here to see who is the strongest. After hearing this, the two Nar descendants stopped tit for tat. After all, they also know the seriousness of the matter. If both sides suffer here, it will only make others easier. The most important thing is their most powerful enemy. Naturally, they are their fathers who gnaw at them. Their father is always eyeing them and wants to devour them. That's why they have such a tense sense of urgency and want to desperately increase their strength and avoid the fate of being devoured. You guys joined forces to come to this place. What happened? The black monster boss looked at his other 8 brothers. He knew that these superficial brothers would go to the 3 treasures hall for no reason. If not necessary, they would not come here to look for themselves, but would go to other parallel universes to eat energy and improve their cultivation. Because, since they joined forces to come to the place where it is, something earth-shattering must have happened. Something big indeed happened. The black monster Lousy said solemnly. Our father Nar seems to have left the secluded place and gone to a mysterious place, but we cannot find out the specific place for the time being. Black monster Lao Wu said. What happened? The boss of the black monster frowned. My father has been practicing in seclusion to recover from his injuries. He has rarely left since ancient times, but now he actually leaves. Could it be that it discovered something? It also senses the seriousness of the matter. I don't know. This is something we want to investigate clearly. The black monster Lao boss said solemnly. To be honest, I feel that my father's strength is getting more and more terrifying. If it attacks us, we may be in trouble, so we have to be careful. Do you think father might attack us? The black monster boss immediately understood his brother's worries. They were worried that the Nars would suddenly leave, so they wanted to sneak attack them. After all, the Nashis are extremely powerful. If they attack secretly and defeat them separately, they will almost certainly die. We don't know, but it's possible and we can't be wary of it. That's why we came to you, lest we be defeated one by father, and be killed and devoured one by one. The black monster Lao Jio said in a deep voice. It also admitted that this was just a guess, but it was not afraid of the worst, just afraid of 10,000. This is the real world, not a game. If you make one mistake, it will be completely over, and there will be no chance to start over. This cannot be explained by their lack of caution. Can't we strike first and work together to kill father? The black monster Lao Chi shouted. Shut up, if you can. Do you think I don't want to? The boss of the black monster said solemnly. I believe you have also sensed father's unfathomable power. Not to mention that his cultivation level far exceeds ours. Even with the same level of cultivation, I am afraid that the 9 of us combined are not our father. Your adversary. Because father contains a more terrifying and unfathomable power. Once used, we will definitely die. It can sense the unfathomable fighting power of the Nars, which is not something they can compare to. It seems that we need to gather together during this time to avoid being scattered and attacked by others. It doesn't matter, if we join forces together, we can destroy the parallel universe faster. The 9-headed black monster discussed a lot and made a decision. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 996.
20 Paralleluniverse.
At this moment, one world after another exudes a destructive aura, with signs of collapse everywhere, and seems to be heading for destruction. The entire parallel universe has the aura of great destruction, and it seems that everything is going to be exterminated. Powers such as destruction, killing, curse, death, devouring, etc. are scattered in every corner of this parallel universe, as if they want to destroy this parallel universe completely, leaving no bones left. And at this time, somewhere is a hidden place. Whoosh whoosh. Powerful figures appeared in this place one after another, each of them with soaring aura, seemingly reaching the extreme of the law. They are all the sect leaders or supreme elders of the major sects in this parallel universe. It can be said that they are the strongest people in this parallel universe. They contain powerful power. Every move, word, and deed can affect the entire parallel universe. But now these strongest people are hiding in this place. All of them have extremely fearful looks in their eyes, and they are uneasy in their hearts, and they dare not leave here at all. Lord Sect Master, a young disciple said to an old man in white, "Why don't we take action against those evil gods? The evil gods outside are destroying the entire world, causing countless casualties. As disciples of the sect, we are responsible for the rise and fall of the world. How can we keep hiding in this place?" He gritted his teeth and was angry. He felt that this was really cowardly. If there is hope, do you think we don't want to deal with the 5 evil gods? The old man in white looked very helpless. But our strength is not enough at all. Compared with the 5 evil gods, it is simply the contrast between the light of fireflies and the brightness of the bright moon. Even if we come together, the other party can kill us all with just one breath. The other old men also nodded and agreed with this. How could it be so powerful? The young man had a look of disbelief on his face. Are these 5 evil gods really unable to compete? He knew that those who were destroying this parallel universe were the god of destruction, the god of slaughter, the god of curses, the god of death, and the god of devouring. Each of them was a terrifying evil god, an existence that was almost impossible to contend with. But even if in this way, he couldn't believe that the strongest people in these parallel universes said that they were no match for the 5 evil gods and could only hide in this place to save their lives. If he said it out, he didn't know how much shock it would cause. Of course it cannot be countered, and this is not a false statement. The old man in white said solemnly, "It is said that these 5 evil gods were born among the 5 major families in a certain parallel universe. They had incredible cultivation talents and powers when they were born. This also made the people of the 5 major families extremely excited and worked hard to cultivate them. But as time goes by, these 5 evil gods gradually show terrifying evil power, filled with the power of destruction, killing, curse, death, and devouring. When they grow to 6 years old, they are already invincible in the world, and the power that permeates their bodies is enough to destroy everything. The families that originally raised them were all destroyed when their power went out of control. This also allowed the 5 evil gods to awaken their own talents and completely liberate their power. As a result, these 5 evil gods began to destroy the world crazily. Parallel universes were destroyed one after another in their hands, and they killed countless lives. In fact, these 5 evil gods are the descendants of the destroyer of all creations. They have awakened the memory of the blood in their bodies and have perfectly inherited the talent and power of the destroyer of all creations. When they inherited the blood and memory, they have completely transformed into the real evil god. In other words, our universe is no longer the first to be destroyed. It is just one of the 5 evil gods destroying parallel universes. The disciple couldn't help but widen his eyes with an expression of disbelief. He had no idea that the 5 evil gods actually contained such earth-shattering secrets. Yes, in these parallel universes, there are many that are more powerful than our universe, but even so, they cannot withstand the power of the 5 evil gods and are wiped out in an instant. Therefore, even if we go out, we will only end up dead. It won't change any of the endings. The old man, in white, had a bitter look on his lips. Lord Sect Master, are we doomed? No hope. The disciple couldn't help but clenched his fists, with a look of despair on his face. No, actually, it is not hopeless. Next we have to leave this parallel universe and go to the original land. The old man in white said solemnly. The original land? What is this place? The disciple was stunned. This was the first time he heard of such a place. This is a special secret world that exists in the void of chaos. This secret world gathers the strongest people from countless parallel universes. It is also the base camp of countless parallel universe resistors. It can be regarded as the last stronghold of all races in the world. The old man in white explained. The strongest person from all the parallel universes? Everyone was stunned. In fact, not all life in the destroyed parallel universes died. After the strongest people in those parallel universes sensed the danger, they escaped from the original parallel universes. The old man in white said, "Over time, these fleers united and formed the Avengers. They want to choose from these monsters that destroy the universe and completely eradicate the threats of these parallel universes. In order to gain the power to fight against these monsters, they have practiced hard day and night and have reached an unpredictable state. Their power is many times more terrifying than ours. Are we going to such a mysterious place next?" Everyone was in a state of excitement. They had no idea that such a place existed in the world, where the strongest people from countless parallel universes gathered together. What a scene this was! That's right. The old man in white nodded. "In fact, I have obtained the pass to the original land this time. Next, we will leave this universe and go to the original land. To be honest, this universe is hopeless and no one can save it, but sooner or later we will come back to kill these monsters that destroyed our homeland." He clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and was furious. Yes, Lord Sectmaster. Everyone's eyes were filled with blazing anger. They knew that they now need to endure the humiliation and bear the burden and move forward so that they can gain the strength to defeat these monsters. "Let's go." The old man in white waved his hand and immediately took out a special spaceship from his body and loaded all the people present into it. Whoosh! The next second, the spaceship disappeared from this place as if it had entered the chaotic void. Among them, it is completely separated from the time and space of this parallel universe. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverse@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 997. At this time, the 5 evil gods, including the god of destruction, the god of slaughter, the god of curse, the god of death, and the god of devouring, gathered together and were scattered in 5 corners. The entire parallel universe has almost collapsed at this moment. All worlds and all life have fallen into a state of destruction. In this situation, no one can survive, except for the 5 evil gods. It seems that life in this parallel universe has not been wiped out, but some fish have escaped. The god of destruction frowned. It sensed that some of the strongest people in this parallel universe did not appear, and the degree of resistance was not as fierce as expected. It seems that after they entered this parallel universe, the strongest people in this parallel universe sensing something, he did not resist but chose to hide or even run away. What a bunch of fearless bandits. They don't even have the courage to fight. They just run away with their tail between their legs. It's really ridiculous. The god of killing is very dissatisfied. It is the most warlike evil god, and only by fighting with strong men can it satisfy its thirst for killing. But the strongest men in this parallel universe dare not fight them at all. This simply makes it difficult for them to fight. Furious, no feeling of killing at all. It is normal that all living beings fear death. The reason why they are not afraid is just that the ignorant are fearless. They know the fear probably because they know the difference in strength between us. It's a pity that they don't know that death is not something to be afraid of. It is just a destination of life, or the starting point of life. The god of death said lightly. It was filled with endless aura of death, and densely packed undead souls and resentment seemed to emerge from it. It seemed that its body was a kingdom of death. Those destroyed worlds where the universe was destroyed, and the souls of countless lives that died tragically were swallowed up by it and entered into its body, becoming the citizens of the kingdom of death in its body. It is the evil god who controls death. It doesn't matter, fight or run away, as long as there is something to eat, it is enough. If you can eat without fighting, that would be great. I am a peace-loving evil god. Jie, the god of devouring, smiled. Just now, it had devoured many lives and worlds along the way. This also caused its power to expand sharply and its cultivation level to increase rapidly.